Crashes. Got one at the downtown split, blocking the right lane, going 40 westbound there at 24, exit 211. Full on, brake tap and stop and go. Northbound 65 to the south loop, northbound north loop, and then the westbound east loop up to the northern split. I'm Ken Weaver.
Hello, friends and neighbors. This is the Matt Murphy Radio Show. We're underway for another day. Happy to have you with us this Tuesday, June 16, 2026. Thank you for being a part of the show today. Whatever time you're able to give us, we're certainly appreciative. We have 4 full, robust hours of what I hope to be talk radio excellence. On this, our episode 1058, big day, 1058. Of our gatherings on Supertalk 99.7 WTN. Started way back in 20 and 21 with the noon to 3 slot. Upon the retirement of Brian, although, we say Brian Wilson's retired, he is the busiest retired man I've ever seen in my life. He was on last week for Chris Hand. He's on this week for Dan Mandis. He's probably going to be on for me at some point. I mean, my goodness gracious, we're working him hard. Working hard or hardly working. He's working hard, that Brian Wilson, on for Nashville's Morning News this morning. Joan Jones in the absence of Chris Hand earlier today. Good hearing Joan on this side of the glass. She's great on that side of the glass. She's great on this side of the glass. Joan Jones, great at everything she does. A counter to that would be Jackson Williams. Catching strays already, Williams. He's behind the glass, making sure that everything that comes out of our speaker sounds as good as humanly possible. Every day. Ken Weaver's behind the glass, behind that glass. In News Closet B, he gathers headlines twice an hour. Or, I'm sorry, say it right, Murphy. He gathers headlines for a living. He delivers them twice an hour. And when it breaks, he also thrills us with his acumen. Ken Weaver, I've got a message for you.
Okay.
Congratulations on your victory last night. There you go, Ken Weaver. That's how you get it done.
Thank you, Brother Murphy.
That's how you get it done, buddy.
Like I said, dude, when Phelps was up and the Dogs had 2 on and no outs, I thought, okay, well, that's that.
That's how we get it done. Ken's Oklahoma Sooners, for those not following, defeated my beloved Georgia Bulldogs last evening in the College World Series. Both teams still playing. The Sooners are now 2-0 in the double elimination rounds. The Dogs beat Texas, lost to Oklahoma. Now we play Texas, I guess, tonight at some point. Maybe right now. I don't know.
Yeah, it's tonight.
Is it if it's happening right now, this show's quality is going to go down precipitously. Oh, isn't that nice? Jackson,
that's not me.
That's Jackson Williams, everybody. J. Willie, Y2J, Action Jackson, Reaction Jackson, whom I blame for the Bulldogs' loss last night.
Sing it, Ken.
We went in too early, and now we claim we own the land.
I'm a Sooner born and a Sooner bred, and when I die, I'll be Sooner dead. Raw Oklahoma, raw Oklahoma, raw Oklahoma. Okay, you.
Wait, you want to be dead sooner? What?
No, be Sooner dead.
Well, that doesn't sound good. That sounds like we're going to be dead more quickly. That's a very unfortunate fight song.
A lot of them wound up that way.
Well, true enough. Fair enough. The Oklahoma Sooners, where we celebrate and remember the fact that we cheated. Anyway, no cheating last evening in your 4-3 victory. Congratulations. So, Ken, every day, I don't know if you know that this goes on.
What is it?
And I just want to peel the curtain back for everybody. Every day I annoy Jackson. Every single day, right before the show starts. Because every day, Jackson, so part of his duties is to crank up the talk television side of things. And, we're on radio, 99.7 FM. Y'all know that. 100,000 watts of blowtorch power.
I mean, all the way up to Bowling Green, all the way down to Huntsville.
That's right. And every point in between. There we are. on your radio dial. We're also on Spotify, TuneIn, iHeart, a lot of different apps, our own app, etc. And then there's the talk television side of things, which is a relatively new piece to the format, 3-4 years old. And it's on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble. Well, Jackson is in charge of titling the television broadcast.
Yes, sir.
Every day. And every day, no matter what, almost every day, not every day, but almost every day, right before the show, Jackson says, and I quote, and I've never told him this, but I'm about to. It's my least favorite question. Every day, he says, what are we talking about today? And he's doing it out of love and loyalty to the program. He wants to
Yes, sir.
offer a title that is reflective of the discussion points that we will be getting into on today's broadcast. And every day I say something that doesn't give him anything that he needs. I mean, is that fair?
You occasionally give me something.
Generally, it's Jackson's reaction to the way that I'm fumbling around. I mean, like, I don't know. And Jackson's looking at me like, dude, it's 3:01. What do you mean you don't know what we're talking about today? And I really don't. So what'd you title the show today?
News and politics. Because I asked, what are we talking about today? And that was your response.
I said we're talking about news and politics.
I used what I was given.
Well, that'll
And that's why I rooted for the Sooners yesterday, Ken.
Hey, Jackson, that'll get them pouring in to the YouTubes and the Twitches and the Twitters. They see that title, boy. Y'all, hey, watch out for our servers. We're going to need a new data center next to the zoo before you know it. Servers going to melt down over the massive response to that title.
Yesterday's title was Matt Has a Sunburn.
It's true. I did, and it browned out like I told y'all it would.
It did, man. You're all tanned up, boy.
That's what happens. I get all red, and then something in my body kicks in, and hey, you're engine. You can brown, and I do. No, so Ken, Jackson was in a grumpy mood right before the show started, and the worst thing to say to someone that you recognize is in a little bit of a grumpy mood. You know what the worst thing to say to that person is?
What's that?
You seem grumpy.
Yeah. Yeah, that can be problematic.
I also have a theory. Have you ever noticed that you can give someone your grumpiness? No, I'm serious, y'all, and I don't know what the phenomenon's called, and if it's not called anything, we're going to call it the Murphy effect because I named it, and I noticed it first, and so it's mine. I can assure you that I am not the first to notice this, though. If you're around someone that's in a bad mood, and I've been on both sides of this equation. If you're around someone that's been in a bad mood for a minute or two, have you noticed how often it is the case that 30 minutes go by and suddenly you're in a bad mood and they're in a good mood? It's like they give you their bad mood somehow. Your effort to make them feel better makes you grumpy and they feel better and now you're grumpy. And I told Jackson, I said, 30 minutes from now, you're going to be in a great mood and I'm going to be mad as hell. I'm going to be pissed off. The news of the day might not have anything to do with that, or it might. I don't know. What is going on in the news? Hey, how about that terror plot? My goodness.
Yeah,
Gracious.
This is interesting. Bunch of some teenagers, 19-year-old, wanting to include Tennessee U.S. Senator and Republican gubernatorial candidate Marsha Blackburn on his hit list.
In on all of that, yeah, no doubt. It is. We enjoy the freedom of the United States of America and the freedom that we are provided by God Almighty to live a life of our own choosing. And we are blessed enough to live in a country. Here's my overall. I'm going to start with like 150,000 feet to go. Then we're going to get down to where the goats can graze on it, right? So we enjoy the blessings of freedom and liberty. But with those blessings of freedom and liberty come a certain level of risk in our society. North Korea, one of the most secure societies you'll ever want to live in, but you don't want to live in it, do you? Why? Well, it's nice and secure. You don't have to worry about home invasion. You don't have to worry about break-ins. You don't have to worry about somebody carrying a gun onto the subway and shooting you with it. You don't have to worry about, people plotting to, assassinate. I mean, you don't have to worry about any of those things. So secure that North Korea. Why? Because they don't have any freedom to do anything of their choosing. So it is all, it was the famous quote from attributed to Benjamin Franklin that those who value security over freedom deserve nor get neither. Well, it is a fact. So understand that if we live in a country where you have freedom of movement, you have freedom of association, we don't demand to see your papers at every street corner and at every turn, then invariably you will see some bad people do bad things to other people. And we have to remain vigilant every day. One of the reasons that you're going to find Matt Murphy defending the police officers that are on the beat on a daily basis, defending the first responders who are getting it done on a daily basis, making sure that we give those folks the benefit of the doubt and we celebrate those that do it the right way, and the vast, vast, vast majority of them do it the right way, is because those are the people that are on the front lines attempting to make sure that these types of activities don't come to fruition and are not successful. But it is a danger that we accept in our society. Now, I'll extrapolate it a little further and say that our right to keep and bear arms is so important, not merely to protect ourselves from a dangerous situation and ultimately to act as a first line of defense against aggressiveness toward us, our property, our family, etc., but also to push back against a tyrannical government if it ever comes to that. Well, that right to keep and bear opens up a certain level of danger in our society, in as much as bad people can get their hands on guns and they can do bad things with them. But it is, and I would argue to you, as awful as it is and as vigilant as we must remain, it is more important to retain those precious rights that are given to us by God and guaranteed to us by the Bill of Rights. That is not to say that anyone wants this type of dastardly, evil activity in our midst. We want to try to mitigate it as best we can and do it what we can while guaranteeing the rights of others to stop it. But we accept the risk involved in the freedoms that we enjoy. But it does not feel as if we have ever been in a more dangerous place. Am I right? Just this afternoon, mugshots of the suspects have been released. The FBI disrupted an alleged explosive drone plot targeting the White House and the UFC event that happened over the weekend. A Signal chat chain allegedly revealed 23 separate people discussing pre-operational activity. Here are the details as we understand them at 3:18 Central Time on this Tuesday afternoon. The FBI and its law enforcement partners disrupted a plot targeting this weekend's UFC Freedom 250 event in Washington. According to Fox News, 5 people were in custody as of today, or as of Monday night, and investigators identified 23 as a part of the potential network of plotters. The alleged plan involved using explosive-laden drones to hit buildings near the event, forcing a mass evacuation and steering crowds toward a pre-staged sniper team. In other words, they were attempting to funnel people into a sniper's nest. A second wave was then allegedly planned to storm the White House gate. The FBI first learned of the threat June 10. That's 6 days ago. And worked with partners to secure, that's way too close, and worked with partners to secure probable cause for the arrest in Cincinnati, where one suspect was taken into custody. Court documents identified that suspect as 19-year-old Tyson Proper. And I've not heard Tycen. I'm going to go with Tyson unless Ken's got something.
Sounds like Tyson to me.
Tyson Proper, 19.
19.
According to a criminal, I have some. I'm not going to say them yet. I've got some theories about who these people have been listening to. I have some theories about what type of messaging these nasty-ass evildoers have been gravitating to. And I'm going to hold off on, I'm going to write them down. I think I'm going to write them down. I'm going to seal them up, and I'm going to pull them out of an envelope. at a later time because I've got it. It's a little too early for me to share them quite yet, but I've got some inclinations. My gut instinct tells me after 26 plus years of doing this job and walking through stories of this type over the years, I've got a few feelings about where they were getting their information from and where they perhaps were being radicalized from. But I'm going to hold off on that for just a moment. According to the criminal complaint, Proper allegedly spent $3,000 of his graduation money to purchase, quote, lots of ammunition, guns, extra magazines, and other items for the alleged attack. Authorities estimated that several boxes of ammunition Proper allegedly acquired contained thousands of rounds. Also alleged Proper acquired an AR-style rifle, a bullpup rifle painted with the American flag, 2 plate carriers with AR-style mags. His family voluntarily turned over this equipment to law enforcement. His father told officers Proper had quit his job to meet up with people he had met online to conduct, quote, missions and recons. And according to the complaint, it said Proper's mother first alerted authorities over concerns about his recent alleged firearm purchases and communications with individuals online. 2 others identified as Brian Omar Roa and Michael Allen Thomas were arrested in California for alleged involvement in the plot. Both men charged with conspiracy to commit murder. They appeared in court Monday in Riverside. We're looking at those mug shots right now, and I don't have them up on my screen. I could probably get them up for you in a moment. Daniel Eskridge of Kansas City, Abraham Alvarez of Omaha, Nebraska, also arrested. Court documents say Eskridge is, it's easy for me to say, Eskridge, Eskridge's wife, told investigators he described himself as a recruiter for the group, had amassed technical gear and tactical gear, including a rifle, ammunition, and other equipment. Also built a firearms range on his property about 3 weeks before the arrest, and she was aware of his signal communications through messages appearing on a shared tablet. Well, then she needs to be arrested too, I suppose. Alvarez allegedly operated under the moniker Shepherd and served as a key organizer of the plot, using a signal chat to direct staging locations, sniper and drone positions, escape routes, communication protocols, according to court documents. I mean, this was not... Bottom line is this, and I'll get your thoughts on it in a moment. 615-737-9986. Where do you think this type of radicalization is coming from, and what, if anything, may we do about it? Frankly, as we were talking about with Chad Benson during the cross, it is frightening to contemplate the damage that could be done with an evil brain, a few explosives, and a drone. Dangerous to contemplate. Multiple sources have told Fox News those in custody are, in fact, American citizens. A foreign nexus not involved. U.S. Secret Service worked closely with the FBI during the investigation. So we'll talk about some of these signal chats in just a moment and what all of that means. Bottom line on this was not something that was just being boasted about online. It was not something that was just being floated online. It was not a conspiracy in theory alone. They were doing the actual legwork to make this happen. And so yet another, would you not call that an assassination attempt on Donald Trump's life? I would think you would. So that makes 9 now. 9 assassination attempts in total, thwarted by authorities. If you don't believe that some of the language being used primarily by the political left, but in some cases the radicalized right, is filtering down to our nation's younger generations, you are sadly mistaken. And my inclination is not that this is coming from... I'll just go and tell you, and I could be wrong. I'll hang myself out on this limb. In the spirit of conversation, I would suggest to you that my gut instinct tells me that these are not radicalized leftists. That these are individuals that I would consider to be a part of the rogue right. That these are groups of people that have been radicalized by voices online. Once again, I'm not saying anything other than what I think and what I speculate might be the case. I don't have any insider information, and I don't claim to. I'm sharing with you my gut instinct on this. obviously there are many, many T's to cross and I's to dot regarding what exactly happened and how it went down. But understand that there is a growing segment of the online population that is radicalizing from what would politically be the far right wing, who believe that Donald Trump is now a part of the problem and not a part of the solution. And they're looking for solutions, quote, by any means necessary, illegal and otherwise, to create that civil unrest that they so desire. That's Murphy's initial thoughts. 26 after the hour. 615-737-9986. Supertalk 99.7 WTN. Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy for King and Associates Insurance. Your home and your automobile are two of your biggest investments. And at King and Associates Insurance, they protect both with coverage that fits your life and fits your budget. Here's how it works. Whether you're a first-time homeowner, a growing family, shopping for better automobile rates, they make it insanely simple with no pushy salespeople, honest advice, personalized service, and policies that really make sense. They're local, they're independent, and they work for you, which is nice, right? They're not working for insurance companies. They're working for you and your family. Visit them online at kinginsurance.com. That's kinginsurance.com, or call 329-8121. Once again, the number 329-8121. You'll get a quote on home and auto insurance that gives you true peace of mind. 329-8121 or kinginsurance.com. King and Associates Insurance. Tell them that Matt Murphy sent you. They are protecting what matters most. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for Genesis Diamonds. Everyone is loving what is happening right now at Genesis Diamonds. I'm loving it too. Free financing for 5 years. Let's talk about it. Make any purchase, pay zero down, get zero interest for 5 years. It's insane. It's not just on engagement rings. This is on earrings, bracelets, band, colored gemstone jewelry, pre-owned Rolex watches. You buy now, you pay nothing down, you spread your payments over 5 years with zero interest. So that's for example, $5,000 gift coming out at about $85 a month, or a luxury pre-owned Rolex watch starting at just $150 a month. It's an amazing offer from the jeweler that's always finding ways to bring you more value. Lab-grown diamonds are also included in this. You get the Genesis value on anything. Pay zero down and spread your payments over the next 5 years. See store for details on approved credit, but hurry. This is a limited time offer. It ends June 30th and will not be extended. Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs. Tell them Matt Murphy sent you to Genesis.
Got the full forecast, another traffic update here in 5 minutes. Right now in Lebanon, police looking for an armed robbery suspect. This is near West Main and Greenwood. Suspect described as a white male wearing a black jacket, jeans, and he had on sunglasses. Tennessee U.S. Senator Marsha Blackburn is one of the people targeted in a foiled plot to attack the UFC matches over the weekend on the White House lawn. According to unsealed court documents, the alleged plot involved using drones equipped with explosives, and the suspects allegedly used a signal chat to organize the plot. A 19-year-old, according to the complaint, was one of the people charged. Federal prosecutors say he devised a plan to fly the drones to create a diversion, which would give his group time to shoot high-profile guests. ABC News contributor and former FBI profiler Brad Garrett says it's unclear where the suspects were in the planning stages.
Of all the people he was talking to, apparently, online, how many were actually in Washington? Did they ever find any drones? Were they ever built? So, it's hard to assess. Clearly, these people need to be charged based on the facts as we know them. However, how far along was this?
Yeah, court documents say Senator Blackburn was a potential target because of her political positions and support for pro-Israel policies. Well, look, Americans might need to brace for record electricity costs this summer, with average spending predicted to approach around $800 between now and the end of September. The National Energy Assistance Directors Association, which helps low-income families pay their bills, says hotter temperatures and higher electricity rates are driving the increase. And the deal with Iran, reportedly going to be signed in Geneva on Friday, might it bring down gas prices farther, Elizabeth Schulze?
The national average right at $4 a gallon, and Gas Buddy does expect that number could go down to $3.75 by the 4th of July if shipping does start to pick up in the Strait of Hormuz on Friday. There are still some big ifs there. One is that shipping companies are still waiting for clarity on this deal, with the ceasefire potentially expiring in 60 days.
Right now in Middle Tennessee, Gas Buddy puts the average per gallon at $3.63, down a penny since yesterday. That's the latest news. Weather's next. So is traffic. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Crashes. Got one by the airport, 40 westbound, just past Briley Parkway, exit 215. 440 westbound before West End, exit 1. Antioch Pike, just south of Harding Place. Then in Murfreesboro, we got someone walking on the inside shoulder, 24 eastbound at Medical Center Parkway. I'm Ken Weaver.
Hearing quite a bit about the heat and humidity of late, you know who can alleviate some of the issues that you might find inside of your home? That would be Jeff Eddy and Efficient Heating and Cooling. It's hard to find someone that you can truly trust when it comes to large home repairs like your heater and air conditioner. Jeff Eddy's that guy. He's my go-to guy. He saved my bacon this winter during the ice storm because Roger came out and helped us out in our family, making sure that our heat was on and available to us. Now, we eventually had to replace, and it was sad news, but I trusted the news because it came from Jeff Eddy himself. He told me everything that was going on, gave me some options, and I got to choose from those options, and I chose to replace the unit. What will you do? He tries to extend the life of the unit as best he possibly can. That's what it's all about with Jeff Eddy and Efficient Heating and Cooling. Efficient offers offers financing available to you. They're an Elite Pro partner with Rheem. They want to talk with you today. If you have issues, they have answers at Efficient Heating and Cooling. EfficientHVAC.net. EfficientHVAC.net. 615-784-4424. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. If you care to comment on the events of unfolding in front of us on the day, 615-737-9986. I love taking telephone calls. It is my favorite part of what we do. I don't know what I would do without them. I mean, well, and I say that because I love the interaction. Obviously, we can do a radio show without telephone calls, but you know, why would we do that? 615-737-9986 is my number, 615-737-9986 if you'd like to get a hold of us. That is also the same number for the super text line, and you're invited to communicate with us in that regard as well. 6063 writes, the use of technology to spread misinformation and incorrect hostile rhetoric and propaganda is what's ruining this country by dividing the people. What I would say to that is, it's a balancing act between the freedom of individuals and their ability to do certain things versus the willingness that people seem to have to swallow certain aspects of social media platforming, hook, line, and sinker, and then they're in it up to their knees before they recognize that it's just all hogwash. Take everything that you read online with a grain of salt. For a long time, I first heard the great one, not the great one, that's Mark Levin. I first heard the talkmaster, Neal Boortz, say this years and years ago. I was a big fan of Boortz. Boortz first taught me about, I was in college in Carrollton, Georgia, at West Georgia College before it was a university. Now it's a university. It was a college back then, one way or the other. That's just outside of Atlanta, and Boortz was on WSB before he became a national name in talk radio circles. And I learned about libertarianism through Neal Boortz. And I learned, Neal informed me, put a name to what I already was, which was a fierce individualist, a believer in personal responsibility and individual liberty and freedom beyond all else. Freedom matters beyond all else. I do not belong to your group. I don't choose to belong to your group. I wouldn't have me as a member of your group anyway, and I don't advise you to do that too. I am a fierce individualist. And as a fierce individualist, I believe that personal liberties should only be curtailed if there is a direct harm to the public. And so we must be very careful about how we manage curtailing personal liberty on the off chance that one of these ne'er-do-wells, evildoers, manages to, well, do some evil. What does this have to do with the super texter's point? Everything. The use of technology to spread misinformation and incorrect hostile rhetoric and propaganda is what's ruining this country by dividing the people. I don't disagree with that. You'll never feel worse about the state of our country. You'll never feel worse about where we are as a nation. You'll never feel worse about where we're going as a culture than when you are online listening to rando anonymous a-holes scream and yell and argue about everything. I spend a good amount of time on the X machine. I play around in there, and it became a lot more delightful when I stopped taking any of it seriously. Except to make sure that people are, those that follow me, you can listen to my pithy retorts or read my pithy retorts or whatever. But it's just a cesspool. And if you don't believe me, get on the X machine and, start talking about what a lovely day you had doing this, that, or the other thing, or just make an innocent observation about something that's nice and or pleasant, and wait for the rest of the X machine community just to crap all over it. You'll never feel worse. But that doesn't mean that we should curtail it in any significant way for law-abiding adults. Now, I said yesterday that I think it's time that we eliminated social media for our youngsters, and I agree with the UK doing that because I don't see any redeeming quality for a 14-year-old to be on TikTok or a 15-year-old to be on Facebook or any social media platform for that matter. At the same time, I am loath and hesitant to, in a knee-jerk way, suggest that we need to react to something like this very, very serious terrorist plot. Investigators uncovered signal chats in which multiple people allegedly discussed attacking the UFC event. An initial review of one of the suspects' iPhones identified at least 23 different Signal users discussing pre-operational activity. Some of those involved allegedly planned to travel to Fredericksburg, Virginia, June 12 or 13 in preparation for the attack. That would have been Monday, Sunday. That would have been Friday or Saturday? Yeah, Friday or Saturday. FBI Director Kash Patel credited the FBI, the DOJ, and law enforcement partners with quickly acting across multiple states to preventing the alleged attack, thanking the partners, etc., etc. The alleged scheme appeared to have moved beyond online rhetoric, and it was in the operational planning phase. This was a real threat. It was organized political violence with specific targets. Most troubling aspect was the apparent, quote, shift from ideological to actual preparation, including recruitment, encrypted communication, logistical planning, and identifying staging areas. As far as motive goes, remains to be seen. I have my thoughts on it, and I'm attempting to. I just don't want to add to rampant speculation, but I've got thoughts on it. So 615-737-9986. What about Oliver Tree passing? I don't know what that means. Should I know what that means? I apologize if I should know what that means. But that is something that is very important to 2396, also named Toby, who wants everyone to know that Oliver Tree has passed away for 2 days in a row, and I don't know what that means. So if you will tell me what that means, I'm happy to pass that along. Also, we're getting a bit of a, what is this? 0478 says, I bet 19 of the 20 were FBI agents. Well, we'll see. It doesn't seem that way. I would assure you that the 5 individuals that were arrested weren't FBI agents. You know, that's another danger. I mean, and 0478, I'm not going to take the bait on this and get all upset about it or get my panties in a bunch on it, but just because we saw the FBI, I'm on record as saying the FBI should be disbanded and we should recreate any sort of national intelligence gathering informational structure out of whole cloth because the FBI has been permanently damaged with partisanship. I'm on the record as saying that. But at the same time, let's not suggest that there are not many, many, many good, solid agents working in the field every single day for the FBI and ancillary to the FBI that are trying to do the best work possible to prevent some of these terroristic activities from happening in the United States of America. I think it's foolhardy to suggest that we don't need people on the front lines protecting us from evildoers. Oh, whatever. It's just, I understand that people still smart and at Jan 6 and all of that kind of stuff, and I fully get the anger and frustration that many of us have with some of these federal organizations and federal agencies. At the same time, many of them do great work. And we should recognize that when we see it. Stephen is first up on this subject. Thank you for calling, Stephen. How are you?
Hey, Matt. Hey, man. Love the show today. Great question. Yeah, I think it is a little bit of TDS involved. What form of it? I think that's the question. I also think we're maybe going to see a few more of these people coming out. But it's way more than just kids on the internet, domestic terrorists, the youth of the nation. The media does add a spark to a lot of it, and then you got celebrities. You just take Robert De Niro, for example, the things that he said during the 250th celebration when they was at a different party. That's how we felt when Biden was in charge of our country. We just didn't want to have anything to do with it. But when young kids like this step out and they take it I mean, when you're trying to assassinate the President of the United States, that's more than just TDS. That's a personal vendetta, which is, like you probably know, things that happen to people like Charlie Kirk and anybody else that's been in the spotlight that has been either attempted to assassinate it or assassinated. It's usually a personal vendetta within these people or something that's forcing them to do this. So all I want to see is the mugshots. I want to get a better visual of what these guys look like. I want to know if there's any kind of the alphabet people, if they're involved behind this, or if these people had prior charges for anything. Now, I need a lot more information on them, but there's got to be some kind of personal vendetta. When you're going after the President of the United States, you're way far gone, man.
Well, I mean, I don't know what you mean when you say personal vendetta. I mean, ideological vendetta can be personal.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I'm looking at mugshots of 5 of the individuals. Well, actually, 1, 2. I'm sorry, I only have mugshots of 3. I'm looking at a mugshot of Tyson Proper.
Purple hair? Do you see any green hair or purple hair or anything like that?
No.
Because it's either something that's really a deep issue to these guys, or they're getting paid, or there's a lot more to it than what we know.
I mean, getting paid by, I think people, and I'm not blaming you for this, Stephen, but we live in an instant information age, and I'm fascinated with and look, I have some gut reaction to where I think some of this originates from, but mine is more generalized. But without any, without any evidence, we just assume, this must be the FBI set all these people up and are paying them. Is that what we're assuming? Why are we assuming that? Why isn't it easier to assume that these are insane, evil people that want to do nasty things and harm others?
And they are. And the main thing that I was looking at was all these people have known about this celebration, this party, and this event for months. We've all known about this for months. But all of a sudden, a few days before the event, all of this paper trail starts showing up. All these people start communicating all of a sudden on everything. I mean, if it is happening that way, that just goes to show, how far that evil has evolved within the machine called social media, or either the youth of the generation that is lost to a point to where, there's no turning back. I mean, what's going to be next?
I don't know. I mean, it's a fair question, Stephen, and I appreciate the telephone call, and I appreciate you bringing it up. I don't know what comes next. I know that there will be some that suggest we need to close down some of these platforms because some use it for bad or evil. I know that there are some that will automatically. I am open to there being more to anything than first meets the eye. I am fascinated how it seems that in the modern era, and I'm not talking about you, Stephen, you're a loyal listener, and I value your listenership, and I value your opinion, and I value your telephone calls. I think it's great. But I cannot help but observe that Occam's razor, right? We skip over the most understandable straight line explanation as to what happened, and we automatically jump to what I would call conspiracy. I've seen it at least three times on the super text line as I'm sitting here. And 4322 says, well, when you sell out future generations, what do you expect? Help me understand what that means. Selling out future generations for what? What motivation are you willing to assign to these individuals whose mugshots we've just seen hours ago and who we never heard of this morning? I love that we have reached a point in our lives where everyone gets like a jigsaw puzzle, right? And we get the border of the jigsaw puzzle put together. My grandma and I used to do jigsaw puzzles together a lot. And you always do the border first, or at least that's the way grandma used to do it. You always do the because that's the easiest thing. You get the straight edge pieces and you find all of those and you get the border done. And then you start filling in the jigsaw puzzle. And it's like we get like not even a tenth, like 100th. Like we get a couple of different sections of the jigsaw puzzle put together. And then people decide what they want the picture to be, and they refuse to accept it if it comes out to be something different than what they've decided, no matter what the picture looks like when we finish the jigsaw puzzle. We have decided that it was there. I mean, can we not just allow the information to come out and then try to filter through the questions that might come up in the process of all of this? Are we so untrustworthy and jaded? Maybe that's the case, and that's fair. It's fair to consider that we've been burned so many times that we've become so untrustworthy and jaded that we're just going to choose not to believe anything, no matter how much evidence supports the narrative that's being presented. 53 after the hour, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy. Defend Systems is on my mind. They're a life safety and security consultation firm specializing in security and active violence mitigation training for for all of their clients, which would include your school, your corporation, your healthcare facility, your law firm, your manufacturing facility, corporate headquarters, entertainment venues. You name it, they do it. Cumulus Nashville introduced this training several years ago, which is how I became friends with Brink Fiddler. He is the owner of Defend Systems. They involve themselves in active shooter response, workplace violence prevention, site survey and threat assessment, emergency and intruder action plans, rapid response medical training. They're not here to scare you, just to alert you to the fact that we live in a very dangerous world. And hope is not a plan. It is time to get trained, and you get trained with the best when you train with Defend Systems. So if you're a decision maker, it's time to make the call to Defend Systems. 615-236-6484, 236-6484, or online at defensesystems.com. That's defensesystems.com. The Charlie Daniels Journey Home Project is an amazing charitable organization doing tremendous work for our veterans. You've heard me talk about them plenty. The Charlie Daniels Journey Home Project supports the return, rehabilitation, and reintegration of our returning veterans. Sadly, there are still in excess of 22 suicides per day. Mental wellness is a critical issue for our heroes that have served. To quote Charlie Daniels, the only thing that protects us from evil is God Almighty and the United States military. I encourage you to donate. For more information, you can visit the website that I'll give you in just a couple of moments. But I'm excited to tell you about the Charlie Daniels Journey Home Project, partnering with Shield 616, providing advanced body armor to the Wilson County Sheriff's Department. It's an incredible opportunity to help our first responders in our neighborhood. Friends, the partnership makes a lot of sense. Shield 616 and the Charlie Daniels Journey Home Project, protecting those that protect us from evildoers. On our 250th birthday, they say happy birthday to the United States of America. Visit thejourneyhomeproject.org. That's thejourneyhomeproject.org.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. And right now in Wilson County, Lebanon police looking for an armed robbery suspect. Happened near West Main and Greenwood. Suspect described as a white male who was wearing a black jacket, jeans, had on sunglasses. Police say he drove away in a dark Chevy single cab truck with no rear bumper and the license plate mounted on the tailgate. And the deputy head of the Secret Service insists the UFC fight at the White House was never at risk. That as federal authorities charge suspects with plotting to attack it. ABC News national correspondent Stephen Portnoy has the latest from Washington.
Officials say multiple suspects in multiple states were involved in the plot to target the UFC fight. Secret Service Deputy Director Matthew Quinn told reporters.
It was an active plot, and it's ongoing.
Quinn says the plot involved the purported use of drones and snipers. But noting that not all the suspects were yet in custody, the Deputy Secret Service Director pointedly said this.
In order to maintain the integrity of the investigation and the security plan, we chose not to leak it.
The remark's been read as a criticism of FBI Director Kash Patel, who announced the first arrests online. Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
So court documents say Senator Marsha Blackburn was a potential target because of her political positions and support for pro-Israel policies. Electricity costs are predicted to hit record highs this summer, with Americans projected to spend about $800 from June through September. That would be about a 10.5% increase from last year. National Energy Assistance Directors Association, which helps low-income families pay bills, says rising temperatures and higher prices are driving up costs nationwide. What about gasoline prices with this deal between the U.S. and Iran still to be signed? Patrick DeHaan with Gas Buddy.
We've been in this situation before where there's a deal that may be imminent, but then it falls apart. So, while we're a little better off with the optimism of a deal happening, we have not yet seen the effects of the deal itself.
So Gas Buddy putting the average per gallon at $3.63 today in Middle Tennessee. That's down a penny since yesterday. Nashville leaders weighing a budget that pairs tax relief with housing investment. The proposal would lower the local grocery tax, which would save the average family about $72 per year. At the same time, it directs the historic $69 million investment toward affordable housing initiatives. Metro Council expected to take a final vote tonight. And a stormy drive turned frightening for a Rutherford County woman after lightning struck right in front of her vehicle. Amanda Johnston telling News Channel 5 the flash was so bright it temporarily blinded her and shut her car down instantly.
My car completely died. I had enough power to get it off the side of the road. It would not start or anything. It's completely totaled. It fried everything electrical in that car.
Experts say the vehicle's metal frame protected her, and she is okay. Two Tennessee Powerball players celebrating $50,000 wins from this past weekend's drawing. Lottery officials say both tickets matched 4 numbers plus the Powerball. One winning ticket sold at a Publix in Gallatin. The other came from Hilltop Grocery in Bradford. Tennessee Education Lottery says it has now raised more than $8.3 billion for education programs statewide. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Crashes 440 eastbound right there at 24. 24 eastbound on-ramp from Hickory Hollow Parkway. The on-ramp there partially blocked in Antioch. West End got a crash 440 westbound before exit 1. Look for a crash Old Hickory Boulevard right there just west of Nolensville Pike. I'm Ken Weaver.
Supertalk 99.7 WTN. It is the Matt Murphy Radio Show. Second hour starts right now, 6 minutes past, almost 7 after 4 o'clock. J.D. Vance was in the belly of the beast being the television program The View. I don't make a lot of references to The View, but I thought J.D. did a great job, and we're going to share some of those video and audio clips for you coming up in just a couple of minutes. We've been discussing, at least for the better part of the first hour, discussing the fact that Jackson Williams is as grumpy as I've ever seen him. And he told me during the top of the hour news why that was. I take it back. I've seen you a little grumpier. But Jackson informed me that the reason that he's so grumpy is that he had his ears lowered today, and he's very itchy. That makes a lot of sense, Jackson. Makes a lot of sense. You didn't plan to take a little quick rinse off after the haircut?
Nope, showered pre-haircut.
Yeah, it's an error.
Oh, so you got the itch.
He's got the itch. See, that's what's going on, Ken.
Oh, yeah,
He got to
that's
the bottom
bad.
of it. Oh, yeah, that's no good. I mean, because I can only imagine sitting there, Ken, like Jackson is right now, and us talking about it and thinking about all those little individual hairs that are on his neck and down inside of his shirt, maybe on his chest.
And you got to be careful because they can actually become ingrown.
Oh, my goodness. In a matter of, what, hours?
I believe so.
Oh, man. So there's danger involved, not just uncomfortable itchiness.
I like to live on the edge.
We know that about you. Yeah, you got the old haircut. Looks good. You got the haircut for the impending nuptials this weekend.
Yes.
For those not listening every single day, Jackson himself is not getting married. He is best man in a wedding.
All right, Brother Jackson.
You plan on hooking up with a bridesmaid or what?
No.
Okay, I'm just asking. I mean, that's tradition. What? Oh, is this? Do you not want to talk about this anymore? Are you choosing not to participate in this portion of the conversation?
Yes.
Did you? All right. Follow-up question, unrelated to the idea of groomsmen and bridesmaid braids hooking up, which is everybody knows is a time-honored reception tradition. Did you and your fellow best man work out your speech?
We did last night.
Yeah? You feel good?
Feel good.
Yeah.
I'm going to punch it up a little bit, but...
This is Friday, right?
Yes.
You got TikTok.
I'm aware.
I mean, and really your duties extend a little beyond the speech and the toast, right? You're also honor bound to get your groom as liquored up as possible prior to the wedding.
I'm aware. I'm working on the logistics.
Are you? Okay, good. Glad.
I got people.
Ken,
it takes a village.
Ken, have you been a groomsman?
I've been a best man and a groomsman.
I was been there.
And I was terrible as a best man. I was terrible.
Yeah. Oh, were you now?
Terrible toast.
Oh, that's too bad.
I apologized to my buddy years later.
Did you?
I said, man, I'm so... He said, dude, I hadn't even thought about that. But it stuck with me for a long time.
Did you just bomb up there, Ken?
I did. It was terrible.
That's a big fear.
Ken, did you, if I might be so bold as to ask, what is a little bit of a personal question, had you a little liquid courage prior to the toast?
I had.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything, my pants were zipped up and everything. And
ooh, that's a good reminder. Thanks, Ken.
Shirt was tucked in. It's just, my toast was just, it just was not good.
Not good.
It wasn't good, but.
I bet it was better than your talking.
But they're still married. I mean, they were high school sweethearts. And they're still married to this day. Got a great family and
see, there you go. I mean, it couldn't have been all bad.
It wasn't all bad.
I mean, if it was the worst best man speech in history, they would have broken up like next day.
Well, yeah, probably so, yeah.
Let me tell you why you should be marrying this guy.
I hope y'all keep loving each other for a long time.
Hey, listen. It's
Big
just
hand for the groom and the bride.
Are you taking notes, Jackson? Here's a good one. It is my sincerest hope that the bride never figures out what Tyler did that night. Congratulations. You know what I mean? Give the old, hey, Tyler, did you tell her about Vegas? Okay, don't tell her. Don't tell her. She won't forgive you, no matter how much she says she would.
I was a much better groomsman than I was a best man.
Yeah.
Because groomsman, you
You're
walk
just kind
one
of there.
Yeah, you walk one of the bridesmaids. And I got a pretty bridesmaid to walk down the lane. And
Oh, do you know who your bridesmaid's going to be?
No.
You find that out what day of?
Probably the rehearsal.
Man, see, that's a toughie. Because if you get a dud, you're stuck with her for 30 seconds.
Is it going to be a DJ here, Brother Jackson?
Yes.
All right, you're going to have to learn some moves, dude. I think I may have danced at that.
Why are you putting your hand over your face?
No reason.
You want us to go on with the content?
Lots of news.
Content of the show? Okay.
Did you hear about what happened today? The FBI?
Hey, just real quick though, I'm telling you, don't think a second about Ken Weaver, who is one of the more eloquent human beings that I know on planet Earth. Jackson, Friday night, don't think a second about. I mean, Ken, did you feel like? Hey, Ken.
What?
Hey, Ken. I just thought. Ken, did you feel like you had really prepared?
I had not prepared, and that was the problem.
Okay.
I don't know what I was thinking.
We're having meetings.
See, I had hoped.
I'm handling business in there.
You see what I was hoping for? I was hoping for Ken to say, "Oh yeah, I'd prepared. We'd talked about it. I'd practiced. Didn't matter. Moment of the speech, all of it went kapalooey."
I'm telling you, man, thinking about it right now, I'm about to call him up and apologize again.
Ken, what'd you say to this man?
It was just terrible. It was terrible.
Ken, I can't.
It wasn't terrible. I could have done better. I mean, he was my best friend at the time.
Oh.
And I don't know.
You know, I feel the same. Not about a wedding speech, but I understand where you're coming from, Weaver. Because when I left Montgomery, Alabama, WACV 1240. Oh no, wait, no, they're 1170. I get WTWA and WACV mixed up. ACV was 1170 on your AM dial. When I left that job after 2.5 years and I was moving on to Birmingham, my final day, they had a big send off, and everybody knew that I was leaving. And my final day, I was a little bit emotional. I didn't know what to say, and I delivered like my final monologue on radio in Montgomery, Alabama.
Yes, sir.
And I bombed. And
you can't do anything about it, man.
Kid, I know now what I was going for, but I can't take it back. Every time I think about it, I get embarrassed. I cannot believe I'm about to say this. So I actually said on the radio, well, we didn't really know each other. I said that. Yeah. Well, it's not like we knew each other.
Oh.
And I'm like, looking back on it, I'm like, what in the hell was I thinking? And I Ken, had prepared.
Yeah.
I was ready to go.
You were all prepared for it.
And hey, but Jackson, Ken and I are sure that you'll do fine.
You're going to do fine, Jackson.
Great. You're going to do great.
Just have Rocky Top have Rocky Top rolling through your mind, brother. You'll do just fine.
Yeah. And make sure you shower off all that
hair.
All that hair off your body.
I know that's got to be itching, man.
Oh, man, is it bothering you right now?
Oh, I hate it.
Oh, I'll tell you what's bothering me.
What? Us talking about this speech you got to give? Just understand the only person that's going to remember this speech in about a month is you. I mean, like your friend. What was your friend's first name, Ken?
Keith.
I guarantee you Keith hadn't thought about that speech.
No, they haven't thought about it at all. I mean, like I said, they were high school sweethearts.
Oh.
They're married today, got a great family. I mean, it was just me. It was just me.
No, I bet you did fine, Ken.
He said I did.
Bet it was fine.
He said I did.
Steve writes in and says, traditionally, the best man is there to prevent the bride from being kidnapped by another suitor.
What?
Okay, I guess that's in the olden times. That was the original.
That might have been back in the day, especially if old Ernest T. Bass came around.
Ernest T. Oh man, Ernest T. Oh, Charlene?
Charlene.
Oh, he wanted some Charlene, didn't he?
He did.
You better watch. Hey, Jackson, did you hear that? Traditionally, the best man, part of your duties as best man, you might want to who's your other best man, Mason?
Yep.
Might want to let him know this. Y'all's job, part of your job is to prevent other suitors from kidnapping the bride. So just be on the lookout.
I don't know how long it's been since y'all have been in weddings, but we're not exchanging brides for livestock anymore. So I'm not.
What?
I'm saying y'all are
does
so
this
old.
Does this woman not come with a dowry? I mean, does she not have a hope chest? I mean, what the hell? What are y'all doing over there?
Oh.
The hell kind of what the hell kind of outfit y'all running in Gallatin or wherever this wedding's going to be? Oh, why did you look at me that way? It's a big town. What do you? Is that where it is?
No. But for you, yeah. You just be in Gallatin on Saturday.
Hey, Saturday? I thought it was Friday. Hey, Ken, you want to crash this deal? All right, it's official. We're crashing this damn wedding. I'm going to find it out.
Saturday in Gallatin.
It is not Saturday. It's Friday, and I know it is.
Oh.
I think. I'm not sure. I'm going to find out. All right, anyway.
Congratulations to your buddy, Taylor.
Tyler. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Congratulations.
Tyler and Faith.
Congratulations, Tyler
Absolutely.
and Faith. And they are, it's my understanding, they're kind of high school sweethearts too, right?
Yeah.
They've been together since high school. So that's
awesome.
nice. That's awesome.
And listeners to the show.
I feel like that Tyler and Faith.
Oh, that made you
that
made you a little uncomfy, didn't it?
I feel like that Tyler and Faith have a personal bond that even Jackson Williams cannot tear asunder. just your goal is not to tear anything asunder. Okay?
If I figure out what that means, I'll try not to do it.
You look it up while I do this. It's 19 after the hour. When we return, well, I'll tell you what. David wants to talk from weddings to assassinations, but we repeat ourselves. Hello, David.
Well, now I'm totally derailed because I got you talked on weird weddings. When you show up to a wedding and one of your buddies brings as a date a chick that everybody in the groom's party, including the groom, has hooked up with. And I remember looking at my wife.
Wait.
I told my wife to sleep. Go ahead.
Who brought him? Who brought this chick?
A friend of the groom brought this chick as a date.
Did he know?
Of course he knew.
Okay,
we all knew.
So he's standing there at the reception going, "Hey, everybody know Cindy? Everybody know Cindy?"
Yeah. I remember my jaw hitting the floor and looking at my then fiance. I was like, "That's the chick. That's the freaking chick." Like I couldn't believe it. And if you want to talk about uncomfortable, the look on the groom and best man's faces, still to this day, this was 20 years ago, and still to this day, I bust their balls about it.
Yeah, she said
priceless.
she said she wasn't going to wear red, but I said, "Let's wear it, baby. Let's go."
So there you go. There's something for you to chew on. But as far as this assassination thing, I tend to look big picture. I think there's two factors involved. You've had decades of indoctrination, leftist indoctrination in public schools. You also have, in conjunction with that, 4 years of basically no southern border, where every foreign adversary intelligence agency can put agents in. Anybody who knows anything about, global affairs knows that the MSF, China's CIA, are super active in cultural operations, so to speak. So they foment discord and stuff like that. It wouldn't at all surprise me if, maybe not these guys specifically, but a lot of this leftist active, violence is funded somehow, be it by the MSS, the FSB, the Russians, fill in the blank adversarial intelligence service / government. I mean, it's no secret the KGB used to fund the anti-war effort in Vietnam. So I think you're seeing a little bit of history repeating itself. I just think the left now, whereas the SDS in the 60s and 70s were outliers, that's the activist left these days.
So I'm a little confused. So we're jumping to a natural assumption that there's involvement in some.
No. I'm saying that it is highly it is highly likely, maybe not in this instance specifically, but that there are foreign agencies that would foment stuff like this or help further.
What would prevent me? So, I mean, and David, I hear you, and I am not naive enough to not hear you, and I understand what you're saying. I also understand that it would be easy enough for me to say that about every single major death-based event in the United States of America.
Also true. I mean,
every mass shooting in the United States of America, I could come out with a theory that the FBI or the CIA or some other alphabet organization was involved. Every single one of them. And so what I look toward is evidence. I know you're not. I'm not fussing at you.
I'm not saying domestic. I'm absolutely not. Obviously, the FBI's trust isn't what it needs to be.
No,
but
not at all.
I would, if I was a betting man, if there was any other kind of influence, I would bet it would be more foreign than domestic.
Here's what I would say to it. I believe that we ought to have as a population a healthy skepticism of anything that we're told by our government. But I am fearful. I am fearful that we have gone from healthy skepticism to unhealthy conspiracy.
Well, I agree with the Occam's razor contention, and I will concede that you are more than likely right. It's a bunch of 19-year-old idiots who thought this would be cool.
Who got together and decided that? I mean, frankly, I believe. I'll tell you.
Hitler.
Well, I'll tell. Well, it's either we're going to kill Hitler, or Israel has too much influence in American society. It's either that's my theory. It's one of those two things.
Well, yeah. I mean, as a Jew myself, also known as Dave the Hebrew, I mean, I hope that's the case, because I've met and I've been conservative my entire life. Has been super cool and super understanding of, obviously you don't have to agree with everything Israel does. I don't agree with everything Israel does. But I every single shred of anti-Semitism that I personally have ever witnessed in my life or been subjected to has not come from a fellow conservative, I'll tell you that.
Well, you got a lot of people running around online that purport to be conservatives that claim that America first means that we can't have a healthy and productive relationship with Israel. And I'm not suggesting that we not re-examine our relationship with Israel, particularly when it comes to money. But I think America and the world is a better place when America and Israel has a healthy relationship. And there are many so-called right-wing America First podcasters that would suggest that the only positive relationship with Israel is to cut our relationship off and consider them an enemy. And I'm fearful that is filtering into our 19 and 20-year-olds.
Yeah, and I agree, and that is it is exceedingly dangerous. You couple that with the fact that nobody learns actual history anymore. And you've got what Rush was before his time, skulls full of mush.
Yeah. Hey, I've got to, David, I love the call. I got to scoot. Time waits for no man, not even me, and I'm way late. 26 after the hour. What happened? Assassination, says 74. He was referring to this plot to kill as many people at the UFC event over the weekend. If you missed it, we'll review it for you in a moment on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. There's a lot of ups and downs in the marketplace today, but here's what I know. When it comes to buying a home, you can't wait for the perfect time, the perfect conditions to come along. You got to act. You need a trusted local advisor, and Accurate Mortgage is that trusted local advisor. They can help guide you through this crazy marketplace for your home purchase or your refinance. You don't need a Joe Blow off the internet. Folks, they don't know you, and they sure as heck don't know Nashville, Tennessee. Unlike the big online lenders at Accurate Mortgage, you're not a number. You are a name. You're a neighbor. You're somebody that they go to the ball game with, that they see in the grocery store. They're never going to advise you to do anything that doesn't make sense to you financially. So if you're looking to purchase a home, if you're looking for a cash-out refi to renovate your current property, or you're looking to pay off high-interest credit card debt, let the loan advisors at Accurate Mortgage help you find the right loan solution for you. It's what I did, and I encourage you to do it as well. Accurate Mortgage, the only one that Matt Murphy will recommend. Accurate Mortgage, AccurateMTG.com, AccurateMTG.com, NMLS 129944. Rates and terms subject to change.
Full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. And right now in Lebanon, police looking for a bank robber. Happened at the Truist Bank near West Main and Greenwood. The suspect described as a white male in a black jacket, jeans, had on sunglasses. Police say he drove away in a dark Chevy single cab truck with no rear bumper. Had an Alabama license plate mounted on the tailgate. Tennessee U.S. Senator Marsha Blackburn is one of the targets of a foiled plot to attack the UFC matches over the weekend at the White House. Sources tell ABC News the alleged plot involved using drones equipped with explosives, and the suspects allegedly used a signal chat to organize the plot. ABC News contributor and former FBI profiler Brad Garrett says investigators may need to determine if other attacks may have been in the works.
Was there anything else planned? Because they love symbolic events. We don't know their motivation for doing this, but the point being, could they have something else lined up? It's a long, hot summer. There's a lot of events that occur around the country. Did they have something else planned?
Court documents say Senator Blackburn was a potential target because of her political positions and support for pro-Israel policies. A new analysis shows Americans may pay record-high electricity bills this summer, averaging nearly $800 between June and September. The National Energy Assistance Directors Association, which helps low-income families pay bills, says the increase is fueled by hotter weather and growing demand on the power grid. Deal with Iran to be signed on Friday. We asked Gas Buddy's Patrick DeHaan when gas prices might fall further.
If this deal pans out, if the strait reopens for the rest of the summer, it could mean gas prices that stay below $4 a gallon nationally. And it could mean diesel prices also see a fall below the $5 mark. So there's a lot of reasons to be optimistic. But we've also seen deals fall apart in the last couple of months as well. So optimistic with some pessimism.
Now, right now, Gas Buddy putting the average per gallon in Middle Tennessee at $4.63. That's down a penny from yesterday. And that's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Crashes 440 eastbound at 24 Old Hickory Boulevard just west of Nolensville Pike. 24 eastbound on-ramp from Hickory Hollow Parkway in Antioch. Then in the Belmont area, got a crash 440 eastbound past Hillsborough Pike. Madison, a crash Briley Parkway westbound in Ellington Parkway. Also Tennessee 45 east of Rio Vista Drive. I'm Ken Weaver.
One of the first conversations I had with the great Shane Ring of Cover Nash involved, quote, open enrollment season. Shane told me, he said, anybody telling you, oh, you can't do this or you can't do that because of open enrollment or we have to wait till open enrollment, you probably want to move along from that person because there are plenty of things that you can do. Obviously, restrictions abound. And, you know, with the government regulation involved, you've got to know how to navigate that system. Well, you know, if your premium's up, if you're unsatisfied with your current rates, if you're tired of paying too much and not getting enough on the back end, it's time to contact Shane Ring and Cover Nash. They can help get you the right plan for you. They shop the entire marketplace. You do not have to play by Washington's rules. Shane Ring at Cover Nash becomes your personal healthcare concierge and can help you cut your cost in half, keep your doctor, keep your hospital, skip the government red tape. If you're self-employed, uninsured, or simply tired of paying too much, it's time to call my man Shane Ring and Cover Nash 615-465-0023. 465-0023 or online at covernash.com. Cover Nash, real health coverage on your terms, not the government's. Super Talk 99.7 WTN, Matt Murphy and the Matt Murphy Show. We continue to try to unravel what went down over the weekend or what could have gone down over the weekend involving this potential plot that was unraveled and uncovered by federal law enforcement agencies. And we will continue to do that. In the meantime, J.D. Vance made an appearance. I guess J.D.'s got a book coming out. We also have J.D.'s got an appearance on The View in the books that happened earlier today, and I got a couple of clips on that front. But before I even get to that, I'm just looking, and this is like literally popped up on my phone moments ago. Details of the U.S.-Iran deal have been revealed, not by the United States of America, but apparently someone in Israel at one of their news reporting agencies got their hands on the plan, a 12-point plan that would serve as a framework for broader negotiations between Washington and Tehran, outlining commitments on nuclear issues, sanction relief, maritime security, and eventual withdrawal of American forces from the region. I'm now looking at these. I've just read them. From the beginning of this conflict, I told you that I, number one, wanted the United States of America to be successful in our endeavors. What was our goal? What was the stated purpose? Why did 13 American soldiers die? Thank God it's only been 13. The purpose was to eliminate Iran as a present and future threat in that region, to eliminate Iran's ability to continue to fund agents of terror and fund those organizations that act essentially as proxies to the regime in Iran, to stop any and all of their nuclear ambitions. And I probably should have put that first because that was the primary stated goal. More on that in a second. And if, in effect, you encourage and anticipate regime change as a result of the people rising up against a tyrannical leadership group like the religious zealots and despots that they are, so be it. That's all the better. It is not the primary goal. It is a secondary goal based on lining out the other few. I just try to reset this when I tell you that these are reportedly, according to the New York Post, the 12 points that have been revealed first by Axios reporter Barak Ravid, who works for an Israeli television channel in Israel. The document had previously been described as a 14-point agreement, but here are the 12 points that we believe are involved in this agreement. Listen closely because I want your reaction for these. Iran, the U.S., and their allies would stop fighting across the region, including in Lebanon. Tehran would reaffirm its pledge never to build a nuclear weapon. Whatever. That means as much as the time that it just took me to say it. The U.S. and Iran would work out what happens to Tehran's enriched uranium stockpile. More on that in a second. Both sides would open talks on Iran's future enrichment activity and nuclear needs. Iran would maintain the status quo of its nuclear program, which has largely been decimated while negotiations continue. The U.S. would lift its naval blockade, hold off on new sanctions, and refrain from sending more troops to the region. Iran would guarantee safe, toll-free passage for commercial ships through the Strait of Hormuz for 60 days. Washington would release an unspecified amount of frozen Iranian assets once the Memorandum of Understanding takes effect. That amount, well, more on that amount in a second. A final deal reached after 60 days would see the U.S. withdraw its forces within 30 days and lift all sanctions on Iran. It would pave the way for a $300 billion reconstruction fund for Iran. One would assume that that's their own money. The U.S. would allow Iran to resume oil sales through temporary sanction waivers. Iran, Oman, and the Gulf states would negotiate new shipping and maritime security arrangements for the Gulf. Oman and Iran have already begun discussions on the last point and are aiming to charge a fee for, quote, services provided in the Strait of Hormuz. I'm going to hope that this is not real, because this just looks like, I hope that that's fake news. The New York Post is reporting that 12-point plan is the negotiated agreement between the United States of America and Iran. And that is, reading it just makes me sad. I want to achieve certain and definitive victory. I obviously do not want any further conflict in the Middle East. I do not believe that if we were not willing to go all the way, that we should have gone any way whatsoever. We are clearly not prepared as a nation, not as a presidency and not as a military, as a nation. We're not prepared to do this. We're not willing to do this. And someone should have known this at the beginning, and it angers me that someone within the administration duped the president into believing that all of this was a good idea. That's where I'm at on it. And I'm not going to abide this nonsense that makes me anti-Trump. It doesn't. I'm not going to abide this nonsense that means that I don't support other major aspects of the Trump administration. I do. But I also can't pee on your leg and tell you that it's raining, and that's what it seems is going on with regard to this conflict. They're going to promise. Oh, and we're going, what was the line? This is good. This is so rich, y'all. This is so rich. What was the line? Oh, I lost the page. Where'd it go? That, well, it went away. Oh, here it is. So, if we are to believe this, we are to believe that the United States of America and Iran have agreed to deal with the enriched uranium at a later time. How do you think that's going to go for us? Once our military has begun to remove itself from that region, once the naval blockade has gone away, do you think we're really we're just not in, I don't know. I'm hopeful that this is not real. That's all I can tell you. Maybe Buddy has some hope for me. Hello, Buddy. How are you? Hello, Buddy. Buddy. You're not going to talk now? He talked to you, apparently, right? All right, I'll put him on hold. Give him one more shot. Hello? Hey, Buddy. I'm in no mood. All right, just there. I'll hang up on you, and you can decide to call us back if you so choose. Mike's in Old Hickory. Hey, Mike.
How you doing, Matt?
I'm all right.
If this is true, then Trump ought to be impeached.
No. Mike, you and I talk. You impeach a president not for making a poor decision. You impeach a president not for believing his
For
military.
breaking the law and the Constitution.
You're right. And tell me where the high crime and misdemeanor is,
This
sir.
is so egregious. Well,
Right.
because he lied to the American people. He said, we're going to get this done in 4 to 6 weeks.
Well, he believed
They're
that.
never gonna nuclear
No,
weapon.
no, a mistake
And
is
now
not a
they're
lie.
looking at the 12 points. They are going.
I don't have time for it. 615-737-9986. I don't have time for your monologues. I'm not in the mood for your monologues, okay? Mike, you call every day, and I had forgotten that I said that you weren't allowed to be on the radio for the next week. Anyway, I said that yesterday, and I forgot, and so I'm done. Kevin says it's not your plan, Matt. Got to remember that. Look, I don't know if I'll choose to figure out if this is real or not, and once we do that, we can move forward with it. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that something is awesome and great, and I'm not going to sit here and explain to you how I think that all of this is going to work out in our favor when I don't believe that. And I've not believed that about Iran for a while now, and y'all know that. As much as I want this to be successful, I can't just tell you, oh, it's going to be okay, when I don't believe that it's going to be okay. I think Iran comes out of this more emboldened than ever to control the Strait of Hormuz. I think Iran comes out of this more emboldened than ever. If this is real, they're going to start charging people fees for moving through the strait. That's what they're going to call it. They're not, oh, it's not a toll, it's a fee. And we're going to pretend like that's okay. I'm frustrated because I don't understand what smarter people than me didn't understand about this from the beginning. That if you announce and declare we're not willing to actually wage conflict against you, we're going to bomb your infrastructure, and we think you're going to just raise your hands and give up and give us everything we want, that is not the way these people work. That's not the way that they act. They don't give a crap about their people. They don't give a crap about killing their people. Why do you think they give a crap about us destroying infrastructure? I just get so frustrated at people that pretend that this is going to be just A-okay, and 13 people are dead. 13 soldiers are dead. And what do we get? I'm fine with it either way. I'm fine with going all the way and eliminating Iran permanently from the face of the earth. But we're not willing to do that either. And so we're left with what? We are more in danger of losing the House of Representatives than ever before. We're paying more at the pump. We get nothing for it on the back end if we are to believe these reports. But because some out there say, hey, you can't be mean to Trump, I'm supposed to just pretend like this is okay? Is that what I'm supposed to do? Is that what y'all want? Do y'all want me to tell you that it's okay? Do y'all want me to tell you that this is just fine and this is going to end well and it's all cool? Are you willing to look at the families of the 13 people who lost their lives and say, hey, it was all worth it? $52 after the hour. Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Police in Lebanon looking for an armed robbery suspect after the Truist Bank was robbed there near West Main and Greenwood. We got that story and more at 5 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Matt Murphy and you, 2 minutes until 5 o'clock. We'll continue the discussion. Obviously, a lot of you want to speak out on this matter. A lot of you are already mad at me. Y'all can be as mad at me as you want to be. That's fine. I'm just telling you what I believe and what I think to be true. Please stop, says 3304. You're not even sure of the source and you're going off on it. I am comfortable with the source. The New York Post is comfortable with the source. You're about to see this everywhere over the next hour and a half. And you know what?
Yeah, it's all over Axios.
Yeah, I mean,
New York Post. And everybody will be picking this up momentarily.
Yeah, I mean, and so, I mean, in the next 30 minutes, the White House will either get angry about it being leaked or they will deny that any of these are part of the detailed negotiations amongst the Iranians. I just related them to you, 12-point plan, not 14. That doesn't give me a lot of satisfaction that we are achieving whatever stated goals we had in Iran. It doesn't mean no pleasure telling you that. I appreciate this administration. I appreciate so much of what this administration has done. I do not treat them as kings. I do not treat Donald Trump as a god, and I do not suggest that he does everything right. And many of you are getting very angry at me for being frustrated with the situation when it occurs to me that I think maybe you're frustrated with the situation too, but something in your mind will not allow you to be frustrated with the Trump administration about anything. And that's okay. It's okay. It's just fine. It's 5 o'clock. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Matt Murphy. This is the Matt Murphy Radio Show on Super Talk. Time for the news.
Five o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. And right now in Lebanon, police are looking for a bank robber. This after the Truist Bank near West Main and Greenwood was held up this afternoon. The suspect described as a white male who was wearing a black jacket, jeans. He had on sunglasses. Police say he drove away in a dark Chevy single cab truck with no rear bumper and an Alabama license plate mounted on the tailgate. New details coming out about a proposed U.S.-Iran agreement that could set the stage for broader peace talks. The New York Post is reporting the plan includes a 60-day negotiation period, limited sanctions relief, and resumed oil sales for Iran. The New York Post says there are major points of controversy, which it says includes no concrete nuclear dismantlement, potentially $300 billion fund, Iran gaining temporary control of Hormuz, sanctions relief before a final agreement, and U.S. troop withdrawal tied to uncertain outcome. The New York Post says the 12 points were first revealed by Axios. ABC News has learned of a foiled plot to attack the UFC matches over the weekend on the White House lawn. Sources telling ABC News the alleged plot involved using drones equipped with explosives and targeted politicians, including Tennessee's Marsha Blackburn. We get more from ABC News. Chief Justice Correspondent Pierre Thomas.
FBI Director Kash Patel, in a statement released to ABC News, said, on June 10th, FBI and our law enforcement partners became aware of a potential threat to the UFC 250 event in Washington, D.C., involving individuals outside the national capital region. The investigation so far involves individuals in Ohio, Missouri, California, and Nebraska.
According to federal court documents and the FBI, Tennessee Senator Marsha Blackburn was specifically named as a possible target by the primary suspect in the plot. And that is for her political beliefs and her support of pro-Israel agenda. Right now in Delaware, Broadcastify's out with a shooting at a hospital between two employees.
Hi, Wilmington Hospital Command. I have updated information for you. Go ahead. All right, we're being advised now, one shot in the neck, one in the upper body. WPD could not confirm where they wanted the staging location.
Yeah, so officials have locked down part of Wilmington Hospital after the shooting reported on the hospital grounds there. Cooling costs this summer set to climb, with U.S. households expected to see electricity bills rise more than 10% compared to last year. This is according to the National Energy Assistance Directors Association, a nonprofit which helps low-income families pay bills. It claims investments in infrastructure and increased energy demand are pushing power prices upward. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Got a crash reported Old Hickory Boulevard just west of Nolensville Pike in Madison. This is an injury wreck. Briley Parkway westbound at Gallatin Pike. Antioch, a crash. It is the on-ramp from Hickory Hollow Parkway to eastbound 24. Belmont area crash 440 eastbound past Hillsborough Pike. Northbound 65 is like a parking lot to get to the South Loop downtown. I'm Ken Weaver.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It is the Matt Murphy Radio Show, underway for another hour on this day. Getting some potential details about the agreement that has been come to with the United States of America and Iran. These are being reported. These details are currently being reported by the New York Post. They are also being reported by Axios. And I would expect that many other news organizations will pick these details up presently. I'm going to lay them out for you in a second, and then I'll allow you to opine on them. MC and Ray and Jerry and Thomas and Russell are already there. A couple of lines available, 615-737-9986. So we're learning a few of the details in what is being described as a 12-point plan and a timeline for U.S. withdrawal regarding our current engagement, conflict, war, whatever you want to call it, with Iran. Newly revealed details of the U.S.-Iran Memorandum of Understanding lay out that it would extend the ceasefire to Lebanon, allow Iran to manage the Strait of Hormuz, temporarily waive Iranian oil sanctions, and establish a pathway toward a peace agreement. Makes no concrete promises regarding Iranian nuclear program outside of the pledge never to produce or obtain a nuclear weapon, which they've always done, and their willingness to have further discussions about other details. Let me just give you the 12 points, and there are some of you who are like, well, the White House hasn't confirmed these, so be it. Duly noted. The document has 12 points. It was originally reported by Axios and Barak Ravid. Barak Ravid works for the an Israeli news organization. It has now been put on paper by the New York Post as well. 12 points. Number one, Iran, the U.S., and their allies would stop fighting across the region, including in Lebanon. Number two, Tehran would reaffirm its pledge never to build a nuclear weapon. Whatever. Number three, the U.S. and Iran would work out what happens to Tehran's enriched uranium stockpile. Also a whatever. Number four, both sides would open talks on Iran's future enrichment activity and nuclear needs. Number five, Iran would maintain the status quo of its nuclear program, which has been largely decimated while negotiations continue. Whatever number I'm on. The U.S. would lift its naval blockade, hold off on new sanctions, and refrain from sending more troops to the region. Iran would guarantee safe toll-free passage for commercial ships through the Strait of Hormuz for 60 days. Washington would release an unspecified amount of frozen Iranian assets once the Memorandum of Understanding takes effect. A final deal reached after 60 days would see the U.S. withdraw its forces after 30 and lift all sanctions on Iran. It would pave the way for $300 billion in reconstruction funding for Iran. The U.S. would allow Iran to resume oil sales through temporary sanction waivers. Iran, Oman, and the Gulf states would negotiate new shipping and maritime security arrangements for the Gulf. And that's that. If I hope and pray that this is not accurate. Because if this is accurate, then this is a shambles. An absolute shambles. And I want to win. I want victory. MC is next up as we take some of your telephone calls. Hello, MC. Hello. All right, I'll put you on hold, MC. Ray is next up. Hello, Ray. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you, sir?
I'm fine. Thank you for asking.
I have got one thing to say before I get to the subject we're talking about. So here it goes. Raise the roof, because I'm Ken Weaver, so raise the roof.
I'm Ken Weaver.
I know, I'm Ken Weaver.
Pretty good. Pretty good. I like that.
All right. Anyway, my thought about it is this. First of all, we as Americans, we need to take care of us. We need to take care of us Americans. We've always stuck our noses and stuck our hands in other foreign countries overseas trying to help them out and stuff, and it ain't doing us a bit of good. We got people over here we need to take care of. We got plenty of oil and gas over here to suffice us for many centuries and decades. So that's just my opinion about it. We just need to take care of us Americans over here and let them do whatever they want to do over there and just leave them alone.
Well, that seems like an America First attitude that I can get behind, Ray. I like it.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Let's try MC one more time. Hello, MC. MC going once. We've got a bad connection. Call us back, buddy. Jerry is next in the borough. Hello, Jerry. Welcome in. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
So I kind of have a little bit of a different take on it. I don't disagree with you, but, I mean, you figure in 1979 when they took over and they took our embassy, which, by the way, is an act of war and it should have been declared, I think about all the soldiers that were killed during Iraq, about 90% of them were or wounded. About 90% of that came from Iran directly. So I look at it as the fact that what he's done so far that hasn't been done since Carter, and if you take Cuba into the matter, because I think Cuba might be next, and Venezuela, at least he's doing something. Now, is it perfect? Do I like what it is right now? No. But at least he's doing something. And if he didn't do this, where would he at? The same thing over and over like we've been doing for the past 50, 70 years.
Well, what do you and I'm not challenging anybody. I just want people to opine on it. I'm not attempting to argue because I don't like this any more than anyone. If these details are real, I'm very, very, I'm almost despondent over it. I'm saddened because I had held out hope that we had an ability through back channels to figure out a way to negotiate the victory that we say that we want. This does not do that. Tell me what has changed what has changed since, let's just say, last December with regard to Iran?
Well, I mean, already he's weakened them. In fact, and believe me,
weakened them how, sir?
Militarily.
So what? So what?
I do have to admit, internally, I was expecting more of an uprising, which they may have been too.
I think very much we were expecting the people of Iran to rise up and take over their country again, and it did not happen. And sadly, it is a failure of our misunderstanding of that region that has been going on for a long time. I think to a certain degree we thought the Afghanis would do that. We sure as hell thought the Iraqis would do that, and they don't. They just don't. They do not look at freedom in the same way that we do. They do not look at liberty in the same way that we do. And so when given the chance or the opportunity, they do not seize upon it. And, you know, we can make a lot of excuses about why that is. They don't have military. They don't have the arms. They don't have the ability. And that's all well and good. And I hear it. I hear that. But I don't know. I'm trying to find the silver lining.
The fact that he's done what he's done so far, and I hate to say this, but it almost makes me feel like the leadership since, with Cuba going back to, JFK, it almost makes me think like they wanted it that way, like almost as if they were in on it. And I'm not saying I believe it. I'm just saying, finally we have somebody that's trying to do something. Because really, I mean, like your last call, I have to disagree in the sense that what we've been doing just obviously was not working. And I don't know, maybe this could be a disaster, but so far, I think he's trying, and in some regards, I think it's kind of working. But time will tell.
Well, I don't. When you and Jerry, I'm not trying to. I promise you. I mean, we're friends. We're not enemies. But when you say, "I hope that it's working," and time will tell, I don't even know what it is anymore. Like, what are we hoping is working?
That's a good.
you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know what is working. What I have been saying for the last, since this started, I have admitted to you that my ignorance of foreign policy would fill this room. And I don't pretend to be that foreign policy expert. And I lean on the expertise of foreign policy individuals that are better at all of this. But my concerns from day one remained from day one to week 5 to week 8 to wherever we are now. They have not changed. And for the past several weeks, as Donald Trump has reminded us repeatedly that we are in the midst of negotiations, that we're in the midst of a possible breakthrough. My concern has always been that we're negotiating with people that are known liars. That Donald Trump's greatest strength, which is his ability to position himself, his company, America, in a proper fashion so as to best leverage what we have to get us the best deal possible in any given circumstance. None of that matters if you're dealing with people that will look you in the face and lie their asses off to you for whatever purpose that they have. And they're a death cult. They don't care how many people die. They don't care if you they know that we don't have the ability to destroy their oil infrastructure or we have the ability to, I take that back, strike that. We don't have the willingness because we understand what that would do economically. They understand that we've got elections coming up in November. They understand that we're under the gun to repair all this. And we announced from the beginning that we were not willing to go all in on it. This is not a game of I told you so. I hope that the structured memorandum that has been leaked today that we've related to you over the last hour isn't true. Because if it's true, it's weak. Hello, Thomas. How are you?
Hey, Matt. Good. Thanks for having me on the show.
Thank you.
I just want to say I listen to your show every day, and I really enjoy it.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Long-time listener. So I'm going to be the, I guess, outlier here. I agree with you 100,000,000%. I think that this deal, if it is true, again, I struggle to see how it is any different. It's actually worse, in my opinion, than the Obama deal that we had in some ways. And really, we look foolish in front of the world because we're not getting anything out of it. And we just spent, billions of dollars on a war. And, what did we get? Like, we had higher gas prices. We had all this junk going on. And Iran still walks away, like they still walk away. They're in charge still. And, I really struggle to see how this is any better than the Obama deal. In my opinion, if this is true, this is worse. I don't know your opinion on that. I'll hang up and listen, but in my opinion, it's worse than the Obama deal, if it's true.
I do not believe. I'll answer the question this way. I do, and thank you, Thomas, for the call. I didn't hang up on Thomas; he hung up on me. But if this framework is correct, I believe that it is a framework designed to extract us from the region, so that we can move on from this, and hopefully, in 2 months, pretend that none of this ever happened. That's what I believe. That's what this feels like to me. It feels like this did not go the way that we thought it would. And I don't know what I'm supposed to do with any level of intellectual honesty to tell you that there ought to be smarter people involved that could have foreseen that. And I know that maybe angers some of you folks that will not accept any level of mild criticism of the Trump administration. I voted for Donald Trump 6 times. I don't need to defend or protect my bona fides when it comes to supporting Donald Trump, but that does not mean that I'm not going to be intellectually honest when it comes to this. And if this framework is correct, this is us announcing we wish this had never happened because it did not turn out the way that we wanted it to. 22 after the hour, this is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Grace Point Healthcare is affordable, convenient, and comprehensive medicine delivered in a direct pay format. As a direct pay primary care provider, that means that all the treatment decisions are made between you and the medical staff of Grace Point. So here's the deal. Insurance is great, and you can file with your insurance company for reimbursement after the fact, but you shouldn't have the insurance company negotiating what type of treatment you get in the doctor's room with you, and that's kind of what happens when it's insurance first, not direct pay, and then insurance afterwards, which is why Grace Point does it the way that they do. They want that sacrosanct relationship between you and your doctors. Secondarily, as a direct pay format, they have the HSA-based savings plan, which give them $99 a month, and you get unlimited office visits throughout the course of the year, plus basic labs and diagnostics. Ask them about the basic Smart Care plan when you make the call that so many others have made to Grace Point Healthcare. Call them today at 599-6868, 599-6868. It's modern medicine delivered the old-fashioned way.
Lebanon police on the hunt for a bank robber after the Truist Bank near West Main and Greenwood was held up today. We've got that and other top stories coming up at 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I have a bait of clips from J.D. Vance's appearance on The View that I want to share with you, both audio and video, on the television side of things and the radio side of things. But right now, this leaked arrangement, 12-point agreement between the United States of America and Iran, has gotten all of the attention. Obviously, we'll do Nincompoops in the News coming up in just a few moments on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. But your thoughts on this are most important. Russell is next up. Hey, Russell, how are you?
Hey, pretty good, Matt. And yourself?
I'm well, thank you.
I wanted to just take just a short time period with a rapid-fire review of American history starting in World War II. As the old saying goes, there is no substitute for victory. It was the last time, as my dear father, who was a Korean War veteran, God bless his soul, stated that our territory was attacked, as we all know. And 16 million troops later and 400,000 deaths later, Harry Truman gave Japan the ultimatum, and they ignored it until 2 cities were vaporized with atomic bombs. So in rapid-fire fashion, during the Cold War, as we all know, or at least many people know, you got Korea, you got Vietnam, in major wars, and then you've got skirmishes like Panama, and then the Soviet Union falls in 1991. And so from 1945 to 1991, roughly, we had the Cold War. We had the Persian Gulf War. People were calling for the coalition to go to Baghdad and overthrow Hussein. And I read an article one time that after the Iraq War began under George W. Bush, that James Baker, who was George H.W. Bush's Secretary of State, said he was asked repeatedly, why didn't you go to Baghdad to take out Hussein? He said after the Iraq War, nobody asked him that question anymore because it was a quagmire. Fast forward to 1979. I'm old enough to remember as a college student when the Shah was overthrown, and then after I graduated, the hostages were taken. Jimmy Carter was president. Obviously, he couldn't or wouldn't do anything that needed to be done, and for 444 days, this country was angry, furious, embarrassed, and humiliated. So then Ronald Reagan defeats him. From Ronald Reagan through Joe Biden, no president, I don't care if they were Democrat or Republican, did anything about Iran, and they conducted a different type of war. It wasn't terrorism like Al-Qaeda and these other terrorist organizations, of which they're the number one sponsor of, as we all know, but it was a slow-motion war for 47 years. So now Donald Trump and his second administration decided to do something about it. And yes, I really believe that their nuclear program is a threat. But the thing is, we have been close to getting this government out. Regime change will cause everything else to fall into place. And now it's like in a football analogy, we are on the 10 or 15-yard line, and we're calling out for a field goal instead of going for the score. I'm not advocating for any troops to be sent into Iran, but I do believe that with the Iranian expatriates that live in this country and in other countries around the world, that they are wanting a change of government. It is a radical, militant Muslim theocracy, and they believe in destroying the Zionist entity, as they call Israel. And Israel has got to fight for its survival. And I believe that Donald Trump has been given some bad advice. I know that for the most part, he is still a businessman. Yes, he is a politician as well. But, this is a political, an economic, a diplomatic, and a religious problem in Tehran, not a business deal. And a business deal is not going to solve this. Then you throw in the midterm elections. And I believe some Republicans have told him that this has got to be wrapped up. And you know what they're going to do, Matt? They're going to sit back and wait it out for 2 more years, roughly, and when he leaves office, they will be back to their old ways once again.
If this is to be believed, they're going to be back to their old ways in 60 days. Russell, thank you for the call. Real quick, I know we're late for the news, but this just came out. A little audio video, please, Jackson. Donald Trump has said this about, he's over at the G7 summit, and he has made this statement regarding the new regime and where he is on all of this.
You talk about regime change. I never cared about regime change. It's never a part, but I guess you have regime change because you know better than anybody. The first group, they're all dead. The second group, they're dead. A part of the third group is gone. And we're dealing with people that I think are very rational people. I mean, they were nice to deal with. They were strong people, smart people. I think actually they're smarter than the first and second group. But they're not radicalized, and they're, looking to help their country.
That's Donald Trump saying that the new leadership in Iran is not radicalized. It's 32 after the hour on Supertalk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. Right now in Middle Tennessee, police in Lebanon on the hunt for a bank robber. Apparently, the Truist Bank near West Main and Greenwood held up today. The suspect described as a white man in a black jacket, jeans. He had on sunglasses. Police say he drove away in a dark Chevy single-cab truck with no rear bumper, had an Alabama license plate mounted on the tailgate. This proposed U.S.-Iran deal, first reported by Axios, could unlock significant financial benefits for Tehran, but most are tied to future compliance, according to the report. In the short term, Iran may be allowed to sell oil more freely during a 60-day negotiation window, potentially bringing in billions of dollars. U.S. officials say any additional relief, like access to frozen funds, would depend on Iran meeting strict conditions. Longer term, a full agreement could include sweeping sanctions relief and even a massive international investment fund, but only if Iran permanently limits its nuclear program, gives up enriched uranium, and accepts inspections. Tennessee U.S. Senator Marsha Blackburn is one of the people targeted in that foiled plot to attack the UFC matches over the weekend on the White House lawn. According to unsealed court documents, the alleged plot involved using drones equipped with explosives, and the suspects allegedly used a signal chat to organize the plot. A 19-year-old, according to the complaint, was one of the people charged, and federal prosecutors say he devised a plan to fly the drones to create a diversion, which would give his group time to shoot high-profile guests. ABC News contributor and former FBI profiler Brad Garrett says it's unclear where the suspects were in the planning stages.
Of all the people he was talking to, apparently, online, how many were actually in Washington? Did they ever find any drones? Were they ever built? So, it's hard to assess. Clearly, these people need to be charged based on the facts as we know them. However, how far along was this?
So court documents say Senator Blackburn was a potential target because of her political positions and support for pro-Israel policies. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, let's look at the crashes, shall we? I got one near Opryland. This is going to be involving injuries. Broadley Parkway northbound just past McGavick Pike. Glencliff, a crash. Thompson Lane northbound at South Lake Drive, Briley Parkway. And then Antioch, 24 eastbound on-ramp from Hickory Hollow Parkway. Still a crash there, partially blocking that ramp. Jolton, we've got a crash partially blocking the off-ramp, 24 westbound to Whites Creek Pike. I'm Ken Weaver.
One of the most beautiful aspects of Timberland cabinets is the fact that they're located right here in Middle Tennessee, and there's so many different ways why that matters. Number one, they ship all over the United States of America. Home builders, remodelers, dealers across the U.S. understand the incredible high-quality kitchen and bathroom cabinets provided by Timberland Cabinets. Timberland Cabinets is American-made, and you don't have to buy that from me. You can go and see it for yourself in Columbia. Number one, we're right here in Middle Tennessee, so you save because you don't have to worry about shipping and all of those sorts of things. They're right here. They have a showroom in Columbia, another in Franklin by appointment, that showroom, so you need to make a call to make that appointment. But friends, you can tour the facility. I mean, you can watch workers from right here in Tennessee. We're not just made in America, we're made in Tennessee, baby. And the beauty and the functionality of these cabinets, unmatched in the industry. The kitchen is the heartbeat of your home. It's time to reclaim that kitchen with beautiful new cabinets. By the way, they have all of the connections that you need for countertops and everything else that goes along with cabinets. Go to TimberlandCabinets.com or 931-499-7170. 931-499-7170 for Timberland Cabinets. I'm sorry, I was just sitting here being despondent. We're going to liven up things with nincompoops in the news. We'll continue taking your telephone calls on the reported Iranian, the details on the reported Iranian deal, or the Iranian deal that has been reported widespread. Donald Trump said it's happening, and it's said to be signed in 48 hours or so?
Supposed to be Friday.
60 hours, I guess. Friday is the expected signing time. But we're getting some of the details out, and a number of other outlets are now beginning to report some of those details that originated from Axios. There was an Israeli news channel that was affiliated with the Axios reporter that reported them, then the New York Post, and now I'm just relating them to you as we are hearing them. Let us hope that these are not the. From my perspective, maybe you disagree, but I hope that this is not real. That's what I hope. In the meantime, 615-737-9986. If you'd like to be a part of the show, you may do that. It's 41 after the hour. Let us lighten the mood and lighten the load with nincompoops in the news.
Nincompoops in the news.
It is that time, friends. You know by now what the news headlines truly are. Ken Weaver has been delivering said same all afternoon long. I've been opining on them. And now it is time for us to look all across the volunteer state of Tennessee. These United States of America
need the globe.
Need the globe. Weaver said need the globe, need the globe. We'll find those nincompoops wherever they might be hiding, and we will bring them to the masses. Listening to Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Jackson has a story. Ken Weaver has a story. Matt Murphy has a story. And you have a vote. And you get to vote on your story of the day. And then we tally those up and we find out our winner. And then the winners of the day become the winners of the week. And the winner of the week gets the big Nincompoops in the News trophy presented by the Wellness Institute of Nashville. That trophy now has a fine crown upon it. It has the Pookie Bear on it. And I added another accoutrement to the trophy, man. It's one of those fancy combs. I found it and I added it to the trophy without Jackson looking. Jackson probably doesn't approve.
Fancy comb?
It's one of those combs. It's a comb.
It's a switchblade comb?
Not a switchblade comb, but it's one of those long combs with a big long handle on it. And I think my brothers from another mother would put it, back in the day where you had the bigger froze going on.
Oh, the power fist.
They would just kind of it's not a power fist, but it's like a power fist. But I loved it, and I thought it would make a fine addition to the trophy, and so I put it on there.
I used to want one of those switchblade combs.
I had one of those, Ken.
You lucky.
Oh, you know what? You know where I won it?
Where?
At the county fair.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They used to give those out at the county fair. If you pop enough of those little balloons with those bent darts,
yeah,
they give you one of those.
Yeah.
Never won myself a Cupid doll though, Ken.
Oh, well.
Hey, Jackson.
Yes.
You going to participate today or what?
Yeah, I'm ready.
What's the story? I mean, are you all right over there?
I won.
You still a little?
I'm just waiting on y'all to be done so I can go ahead and announce the order.
Hey, I just want to make sure you're okay, Jackson. You were grumpy earlier. Are you still grumpy?
I'm fine.
Jackson, can I ask you one more question before we get to the order of the day? Because apparently you won yesterday. One more question. One more quick question. If I continue to ask you about your grumpiness, is that going to make you grumpier?
Yes.
So you admit you're grumpy?
I am now.
Jackson, you won yesterday. It's my understanding. Oh, well, I'll be quiet now. The horn guy is spoken. I try to get out of the way of the horn guy. He's got a big, long horn. I don't want to get in his way.
The order for today.
Some people would call him horny.
The order for today.
Yes, sir. He turned my mic off. And I heard Ken Weaver go, whew. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Williams, Weaver, and Murphy up the rear.
Bringing up the rear, Jackson, is the phraseology.
Yeah, either way.
Okay, sure. So you said Weaver, Williams, and then me? Is that what you said? You're going to let Ken go first?
No, Williams, Weaver, then me.
I heard Okay, fine. Do it your way, Mr. King.
Alabama couple get into on-camera beef with customer who left 1-star review about their new ice cream shop.
Aw. Where's this at? I might have been there.
Married Alabama ice cream shop owners are facing charges after they ripped into a customer in a caught-on-camera confrontation over a 1-star review he left for their business. Daniel Smith was confronted by the local Scoop owners, Mallory and Ryan Goldman, in a McDonald's parking lot in Bay Minette.
Bay Minette, yes.
Over 3 months after he complained online that the shop's workers screwed up his waffle cone.
Well, I mean,
according to reports.
Accountability.
Bay Minette.
Mallory said, I am mad because I have busted my ass at something and you think you're going to run it into the ground.
People get sensitive over those reviews.
And
man.
incensed, Mallory fumed at Smith, who was recording the exchange on his phone on June 7th.
Ooh.
Mallory continued her tirade against Smith as the two exchanged verbal jabs about each other's appearance and financial situation in the nearly 15-minute video.
You dressed like trash.
Then she issued a warning. Do not continue to involve yourself in my business. I will absolutely do something.
Uh-oh.
Wow.
Eventually, Mallory's husband, Ryan, reached the scene and also laid into Smith. Smith, a DoorDash driver, said when he left the review in March, he didn't think twice about it until he and Mallory ran into each other at a stoplight.
Well, glitch in the matrix there.
Smith agreed to meet Mallory at the parking lot after he dropped off an order, sparking the angry encounter. At one point, Smith claimed his phone was knocked out of his hand. Mallory was hit with harassment and criminal mischief charges, while her husband was charged with harassment. Both sides appear to be ready to bury the hatchet. A happy ending on Nincompoops.
Oh, that's nice.
I apologize to Daniel Smith, to my family, and to those in the city I love, Mallory said in a statement to WKRG. I am embarrassed with how I acted. I let something get to me that I should have overlooked, and it built over time until the incident that took place a few days ago. Well, I cannot take it back. I can reflect on it and learn from it.
So what was the complaint? Was he suggesting that her butter pecan wasn't as flavorful as it should be, or what?
It was something about messing up his waffle cone.
Messed up his waffle cone, and then apparently the proprietor, I guess, decided to confront the complainant
at a different location
3 months later.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Man,
Big
she's
deal.
been simmering on that for a minute, huh?
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, sometimes I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Sometimes those waffle cones get a little stale. There.
Oh, maybe it wasn't very crunchy.
Yeah.
Maybe it wasn't crispy.
Maybe soggy. There's nothing worse than a soggy cone.
Yeah.
What do y'all? What is y'all's preferred standard flavor when you go to an ice cream shop? Do you have one? Do you have a go-to flavor? Like, if this flavor is available, I'm probably going to that flavor.
Something with Reese's peanut butter cup in it.
I'm with canned peanut butter.
See, I go, you know what I'm partial to? I love the black cherry ice cream.
Yeah, that'll work.
Woo, doggy. Pistachio, too, thanks very much.
That'll work, too.
Or a mint chocolate chip. Or really any ice cream whatsoever.
I'd do about all of them.
I'll take that. You know what I'd take, Ken?
What's that?
Vanilla.
Yeah.
Just plain old vanilla.
I used to sneak a lot of vanilla whenever I worked at that Hardee's when I was 19.
Oh, I bet you did. I bet
Ate
you did.
A lot of cookie dough and ice cream.
Ken Weaver?
Arizona motorist rushing home for Love Island, busted going over 100 miles per hour. The Peacock reality TV hit allegedly had one viewer clocked at 108 mile per hour trying to catch the show. An Arizona woman, apparently a super fan, clocked by the Highway Patrol in Pinal County on State Route 347. The posted speed limit, 65. She was 108. The Highway Patrol said in a statement, the driver stated she was trying to get home fast to be able to watch the reality TV show Love Island. Well, she didn't get to watch Love Island. The driver was arrested and booked for criminal speed and reckless driving, and the vehicle went to car jail for 20 days.
Wow.
All over Love Island.
That's bad news.
I don't understand those shows.
I don't get it. I don't get them either, Ken. Love Island? Nincompoopery is what that is.
Yes, sir.
A lot of nincompoopery. Do y'all remember the movie The Distinguished Gentleman? It was a 1992 film starring Eddie Murphy. The film's plot centered on politics, particularly Congress and lobbyists and the shenanigans they get into after they get to Washington, D.C. The basic premise of the plot was that a congressperson by the name of Jeff Johnson died right before the people were going to vote. And right before the last moment of ballot access was made available, another person got on the ballot, and his name was, he was a con man played by Eddie Murphy, and his name was Thomas Jefferson Johnson, and he cut out his first name. Are you listening, Jackson? Are you participating at all in the show right now? Okay, his name was Jeff Johnson, and so Jeff Johnson ran, and everybody thought it was the other Jeff Johnson, and so he got elected to Congress. That was a movie in 1992.
Okay.
Let's talk about 2026. The head of the Alaska Division of Elections said yesterday that the state will not allow Dan J. Sullivan, the namesake challenger to Republican Senator Dan Sullivan, to appear on the August 18th primary ballot. Division Director Carol Beecher, a Republican, said in a 3-page letter that she believes he filed in an effort to confuse voters. On review of the complaints and other information on the division's possession, I conclude that your declaration of candidacy was not properly filed with the division because it was not filed in order to declare a good faith candidacy for the office of United States Senator, but was instead filed with the purpose to confuse or mislead and to thereby compromise the ballot fairness and neutrality. Dan J. Sullivan is 69. He's a retired teacher from Petersburg. He filed to run as a Republican for the U.S. Senate last month, days before the filing deadline. The Division of Elections decision drew pushback from State Senators Forrest Dunbar, amongst others who are separately seeking a legal review of the removal from legislative attorneys. Section 1983 of a law appearing in the Civil Rights Act says that it allows individuals to sue state or local government who violate their constitutional or statutory rights. In other words, the Alaska Republican Party filed 2 complaints with the state election division in an effort to keep him off the ballot. Dan J. Sullivan has maintained that he met every legal requirement to run and said he was challenging the senator because he does not serve the interest of everyday Alaskans. To me, it's not complicated, he wrote on a Facebook post 4 days after the state's preliminary decision to remove him from the ballot. I met the qualification. I entered the race. I'm unhappy with the 12-year record of the current senator. We need a change. It's that simple. Republican Lieutenant Governor Nancy Dahlstrom, who oversees the elections in Alaska, announced the probe last week. Dan J. Sullivan said in response that it sends the wrong message to voters who should decide who can serve. The entire state of Alaska qualifies as nincompoops.
Yeah, how can they prove that's what he intends to do?
Right. So he can't run because he's got the same name of the current sitting senator? That seems like a load of garbage to me. Yeah. So my name's Matt Murphy. Can't run against Matt Murphy. There's a politician in Illinois named Matt Murphy. What if I went up there and wanted to run against Matt Murphy? I can't run against Matt Murphy?
Well, you see, sir, we can read your mind. We know that you have other priorities.
Other priority. Like, how dare you make it more difficult for the people of the voting people of Alaska to figure out who the hell's who? I mean, how about y'all figure it out and use an initial or something?
That's weird.
That's just weird. Alaska, y'all are a bunch of nincompoops. That's 54 after the hour. That's how we play. Vote early, vote often. Super Talk 90.7 WTN. The Wellness Institute of Nashville believes in helping you eliminate pain in a natural way. Pain is bad. That's why their website's called painisbad.com, painisbad.com, painisbad.com. Go to the website and find out more. You can find out about the Epic Spinal Special, which offers you $33 off every visit on the spinal decompression machine, which works. If you've got back pain, neck pain, knee pain, hip pain, elbow pain, wherever it hurts, they can help your healing with no surgery, no injections, no painkillers, and no downtime. And Dr. Mitchell and his team, they're always friendly. They're always quick with a laugh, but they obviously are intent on eliminating your pain, and they do it every day. And they come up with these new advancements like Medical Bay One, a futuristic healing machine that works. Friends, the bottom line is this. If you're in pain, you need relief. 615-246-5009, 615-246-5009, or painisbad.com. Tell them Matt Murphy sent you to the Wellness Institute of Nashville.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. And right now in Middle Tennessee, the search is on for a suspected bank robber from the Truist Bank. Happened near West Main and Greenwood this afternoon there in Lebanon. Police say the suspect is a white male in a black jacket, jeans. He had sunglasses. Police say he drove away in a dark Chevy single cab truck with no rear bumper, but a license plate mounted on the tailgate. It was an Alabama plate. Debate is intensifying over how much money Iran could get under a potential new agreement with the United States. Early terms may allow Iran to boost oil exports, creating a major source of immediate revenue. This is according to Axios, who was first with this story. However, the White House insists this deal is performance-based, meaning Iran only gets benefits if it follows through on nuclear commitments. The biggest prize, a possible $300 billion development fund, that would only come with a final long-term deal, according to this story in Axios. The deputy head of the Secret Service insists the UFC fight at the White House was never at risk. That as federal authorities charge suspects with plotting to attack it. ABC News national correspondent Stephen Portnoy has the latest from Washington.
Officials say multiple suspects in multiple states were involved in the plot to target the UFC fight. Secret Service Deputy Director Matthew Quinn told reporters.
It was an active plot, and it's ongoing.
Quinn says the plot involved the purported use of drones and snipers. But noting that not all the suspects were yet in custody, the Deputy Secret Service Director pointedly said this.
In order to maintain the integrity of the investigation and the security plan, we chose not to leak it.
The remark's been read as a criticism of FBI Director Kash Patel, who announced the first arrests online. Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
Court documents say Tennessee U.S. Senator and Republican gubernatorial candidate Marsha Blackburn was a potential target because of her political positions and support for pro-Israel policies. Well, electricity costs could hit record highs this summer, with Americans projected to spend about $800 on power from now through September. That would be about a 10.5% increase from last year, according to the National Energy Assistance Directors Association, a nonprofit which helps low-income families pay bills. This group says rising temperatures and higher electricity prices are driving up costs nationwide. What about gasoline prices with this deal between the U.S. and Iran to be signed on Friday? Patrick DeHaan with Gas Buddy.
We've been in this situation before where there's a deal that may be imminent, but then it falls apart. So, while we're a little better off with the optimism of a deal happening, we have not yet seen the effects of the deal itself.
Yeah, Gas Buddy putting the average per gallon at $3.63 today in Middle Tennessee. That's a penny cheaper than yesterday. And that's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Crashes, Glencliff, Thompson Lane northbound at South Lake Drive, Berry Hill, 8th at Kirkwood Avenue, Antioch, a crash, on-ramp partially blocked, 24 eastbound on-ramp from Hickory Hollow Parkway, Jolton, a crash, off-ramp partially blocked, 24 westbound off-ramp to Whites Creek Pike, Woodbine, a wreck, 440 westbound past Nolensville Pike. Then in Whites Creek, a crash, 24 eastbound at Old Hickory Boulevard North. And now in Murfreesboro, a wreck, 24 westbound at Medical Center Parkway. I'm Ken Weaver.
Hello, friends. Welcome into the final hour of this Tuesday, June 16 edition of the Matt Murphy Radio Show. Thank you for being with us. Whatever time you're able to give us, we're certainly appreciative of it. It has been a very busy news afternoon. As we've been reporting to you, lots going on. Obviously, the revelation of the story that happened over the weekend involving the Federal Bureau of Investigation tracking down individuals who were online attempting to coordinate and actively planning and actively plotting an attack on the nation's capital at this UFC Freedom 250 event. Some of those details became revealed earlier today, and we talked about that in the first hour. I've got a couple of palate-cleansing clips regarding J.D. Vance on The View that I've been planning to play for you, and we'll do so in just a couple of minutes. But the big story that has taken up a lot of the oxygen in the room, we believe that we now have a few details of the U.S.-Iranian deal. One had hoped that we would see better negotiated points, and there has been no confirmation from the White House that these details are accurate. At the same time, there are several sources that are reporting that this is correct. The following 12 points revealed earlier today: Iran, the U.S., and their allies would stop fighting across the region, including in Lebanon. Tehran would reaffirm its pledge never to build a nuclear weapon again. They've been saying that for forever. The U.S. and Iran would work out what happens to Tehran's enriched uranium stockpile, which I would suggest means that they're going to keep it. But I could be wrong. The U.S. and Iran would work out. I'm sorry, I just said that. Both sides would open talks on the future enrichment activities. That should be a non-starter. Iran would maintain the status quo of its nuclear program for at least the next 60 days. U.S. would lift its naval blockade, hold off on new sanctions, refrain from sending more troops. Iran would guarantee safe toll-free passage for commercial ships through the Strait of Hormuz for 60 days. Washington would release an unspecified amount of frozen assets to Iran. Final deal takes place, or a final deal reached after 60 days would see the U.S. withdraw its forces in their totality. It would also pave the way for a $300 billion reconstruction fund for Iran. I have no idea where that money's supposed to come from. I would think that's Iranian money that we would unfreeze. U.S. would allow Iran to resume oil sales. Iran, Oman, and the Gulf states would negotiate new shipping and maritime security arrangements, which we're told would include a fee, which ought to be a non-starter too. None of this sounds good. I hope that all of this is inaccurate reporting. That's all I can tell you. That is my take on this. Bad news. Ernie's in Cottontown. Thank you for calling, Ernie. How are you?
Good evening, Matt. Just my opinion. Our president is fighting 2 or 3 different battles, trying to put 3 or 4 fires out at the same time. He's got the Democratic Party he's got to worry about. They're trying to set him up. They want him to go over and blow Iran up. They don't give a damn how many people they kill. They talk about the Iranians. Well, the Democratic Party doesn't care. That would fuel the fire to keep Trump out. They just, I mean, he's got to kind of fight to both ends of the stick. I don't understand why people can't see that. Now, I'm just an ordinary citizen, ex-soldier, and 81 years old, but I've seen a lot. I would have loved to have him running our country when LBJ was in Vietnam. We could have went to Hanoi anytime. Politics brought Nixon in, and he just pulled us out and left those civilians hanging out to dry. I think the Democratic Party is just waiting, wringing their hands, screaming. If he don't invade and put boots on the ground, we're screwed. That's what they want. And he's too slick for him. I trust that man. I know he's like a used car salesman, but it's kind of like we own the car lot. It's our country. And the Jewish people, we better support Israel. They're right in the middle of that viper's den. They give us good information, and we back them up. With that being said, I love my country, and your nincompoops is my therapy as an old ex-soldier for the afternoon. I get a kick out of listening to it. And Jackson, after he gets a few more calendars behind him, he's going to be an outright citizen there one of these days. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you, Mr. Ernie. I appreciate the call from Cottontown. Jackson should be in a better humor considering the amount of votes he's getting for today's nincompoops in the news. I thought I was, dare I say, cocksure that my Alaskan story would get a few. Not so much. Jackson's opening salvo seems to be taking the majority of the votes thus far, with Ken Weaver not far behind. It's normally the case. I'm used to it. I get it. I understand. Everybody wants to beat up on the host. Don't let the host win, nincompoops. By the way, voting has now officially closed. And Jackson, I think you've secured your second victory in a row.
That's the week.
I don't know. I'm thinking about revamping the rules. I think members of the Matt Murphy Show afternoon team that miss days, they lose nincompoop wins for every day they miss. You know what I'm saying? Like for Friday, well, no, everybody's out on Friday. But for Thursday, so you got to win tomorrow. How about that? I don't know. I'm just changing the rules.
All y'all could do is tie. I win.
Change the rules as I go along. Let's talk to Betty in, well, I don't know where Betty's calling from, but Betty, good afternoon. Welcome.
Hey, Matt. I'm in Hendersonville,
well, I'm glad
and
you called.
it was wonderful to see you at the Glock store open house.
Oh, it was good to see you too, Betty. Thank you.
And before I comment on the Iran deal, I have something that may provide a little bit of levity for y'all since you were talking about ice cream. I watched a documentary about Thomas Jefferson the other day, and he brought vanilla beans back from France and put them in ice cream after he was stationed over in France as ambassador. Do you know what the favorite flavor of ice cream was in our colonies prior to that?
Prior to the vanilla bean being brought back by Thomas Jefferson, what was the favored flavor? I'm going to give a guess. Jackson, you got a guess too. Ken, if you're back there, you need a guess. I'm going to guess, Betty, that the favorite flavor was huckleberry. Jackson, you got a guess?
Cookies and cream.
Jackson says cookies and cream. And I think Ken's at the little newscaster's room. What was the answer, Betty?
Oyster ice cream.
Oyster ice cream. That sounds delish. Can we get a little oyster ice cream? I think that would be fabulous. No, I'm not even kidding.
I don't know. I know they put weird stuff in ice cream nowadays, but I guess to me, oysters, fish, and cream, ice cream, I like oysters Rockefeller, but not in my ice cream.
I'm just gonna go all the way, and I'm gonna put out a line of Matt Murphy's fish flavored ice cream. I think we got a market for it, Betty, and you're gonna get your just desserts on the back of the package, inspired by Betty.
If you make it up, I will try it, Mr. Murphy. Is that fair?
That sounds good to me. What about
All
Iran?
right.
Talk to me.
All right. This is going to sound wildly and way off out in space somewhere, but I am trying to wrap my brain around this, knowing our president, I've studied him for years, long before he ever ran for president. And I am wondering if perhaps there is some part of this being released because, it's supposed to make the markets go better and the gas prices go better or whatever. I'm wondering if perhaps there was some sort of a deal that would get Mr. Thune off his derriere to pass the SAVE Act. Now, I'm throwing that out there, and you can probably think that I am loony as a bird, but
help me understand. Okay, I'm going to work with you. I'm not going to poo-poo it. Help me understand how this would get Thune off the schneid and motivate him on the SAVE Act.
Because the Republicans who were not willing to side on it, many of them face midterm elections. And as a negotiation to get them to agree, and I hate to even say this, but maybe save some face over this whole thing, that maybe that might have been some portion of a backroom deal. I honestly, Matt, I pray it isn't. I'm probably nuts, okay? I admit it, but it was just a thought that occurred to me.
Well, it remains to be seen. I'm not going to dismiss any ideas that come to the table because we've not had it confirmed to us. And thank you, Betty, for the call, and thank you for the wonderful trivia information. The most popular ice cream in the colonies prior to Vanilla Bean and Thomas Jefferson bringing it back was oyster ice cream. That's good. I don't want to be dismissive of any thoughts or ideas regarding this. I think many of us I've been saying for some time, and I hear from many of you, and many of you agree with me. Some disagree with me adamantly, and you tell me that I just don't get it, that I'm too naive. I've been hoping for some time that there's some sort of magic that's happening behind the scenes that I can't contemplate or comprehend or understand. And the closer we get to a quote-unquote Iranian deal, the closer I get to the conclusion that there is no magic pill, that there is no amount of rainbows or unicorn farts that's going to come along and save this. Betty, I don't understand how one would have anything to do with the other, but okay, let's find out together. I believe that there was a consensus in the White House about how this would go forward. I think that President Donald J. Trump became convinced, based on advice that he received, earnest advice, I'm sure it was, about how things would break down in the aftermath of bombing campaigns against the Iranians. And once we removed the head of the regime or the second head of the regime, that it would come toppling down and all chaos would ensue and we'd be welcomed as liberators, whatever. And I do not believe that it has happened in the manner that we thought it would happen. And I do believe that this is, if this construct of a memorandum of understanding is correct, that this is a way for us to extract ourselves out of the situation. And perhaps that's the best that we can hope for. Perhaps that's the best that we can get. We'll see. Rob will be with you next on the issue of data centers. We've got another business closing down in Davidson County. Does Freddie O'Connell, the mayor of this city, not care? And clips from J.D. Vance's appearance on The View, which are very amusing. Mike is sitting on line 5 in Old Hickory. Mike apparently hasn't gotten the memo that not only are you to only call once per day, and I accidentally let him on earlier today, but based on the stupidity of his call from yesterday, we're not allowing him to get on air for the rest of the week. So, Mike, you can either sit there and suck your thumb, or you can get off the phone and file a violation against me regarding your free speech rights or whatever the hell you think is going on here. It's 615-737-9986 for the rest of you on Super Talk. Hi, friends. It's Matt Murphy for Eurofix. You want a European auto repair shop that doesn't feel like a European auto repair shop? Well, I'll tell you. The moment you walk into Eurofix, you notice Eurofix is not your typical greasy garage. Waiting rooms are clean and comfortable. They're inviting. Service areas are spotless because Eurofix cares about everything from how you're treated to how your vehicle's treated. Every repair comes with a rock-solid 3-year, 36,000-mile nationwide warranty on all the repairs that Eurofix performs. And they do it at below dealer pricing. Plus, you don't have to wait. You don't have to put up with dealer pricing, and you don't have to wait to get called back. And sometimes you never get called back from these shops. Eurofix calls you back jiffy quick. They fix everything European, plus a rental-car available with every appointment. Locations in Nashville, Franklin, Belmead, Murfreesboro, and Mount Juliet. Call today, 844-EUROFIX. 844-EUROFIX, or online at myyurofix.com. Once again, myyurofix.com. Tell them that Matt Murphy sent you to the one and only. It's Eurofix. Supertalk 99.7 WTN. Thank you for being around with us. It is the Matt Murphy Radio Show. It's the end of a 16-year run in business in Nashville. Yet another local business has announced its closure. Does Freddie O'Connell not care about this one either? Burger Up, and I didn't know anything about Burger Up. They were a restaurant located in 12 South. That's way too bougie for me. They don't. Jackson, did they let you in 12 South?
Occasionally I get a visa.
Good for you. They got good food over there, I'm told. Down there, I guess it is. The restaurant Burger Up has announced its closure after 16 years in business. I don't know that they necessarily said exactly the reason for their closure, but several people said, oh, their burgers were way too expensive. Well, their burgers were probably way too expensive because they were busy paying property taxes in the city of Nashville. Burger Up announced it's permanently closing. Restaurant shared the news on social media today. Stand by. No, I don't know why that happened. Okay. Well, that's going to be the end of that story because my phone screwed up. So that's that. Burger Up has announced its closure. One would assume that Freddie doesn't care because that's been his basic, well, there's plenty of places that want to come to Nashville. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it till it's a problem. And when it's a problem, it's too late, and you've killed the goose that lays the golden eggs. Rob is next up. Hello, Rob.
Hi, Matt. How's it going?
Doing well, Rob. I hope you are.
I am. I wanted to talk about the Iran thing, but first I wanted to talk about data centers. I heard you guys talking about them yesterday, and I missed most of that. You mentioned someone saying that there were 33 data centers, I think, in the Middle Tennessee area, with one in downtown Nashville. So I got curious. I went and looked at that on the map, and it's called 365 Data Centers. It's in the Truist Bank building, which used to be SunTrust. And I looked at that and thought, I know that data center. I used to work in that data center. My company used to have equipment that they hosted for us, and I would have to go there about once a week to do things to that equipment. And it currently takes up, I think, the 8th floor of the Truist Bank building. And basically it's the deal, if you're a small or medium company and you don't have a place on your premises to maintain your own equipment, they'll do it for you. And they'll give you like a configurable cage to put your stuff in. They'll give you a key to the cage so you can get into your stuff and nobody else can, and that sort of thing. And that is a very different animal than what's going in next to the zoo. Completely different. Now you're talking about, I think now it's 260,000 square foot facility, and the machines in the Truist place are, you're talking probably lower end stuff. These aren't the big H200 AI chips, that sort of thing. So I just wanted to add that. Maybe you already knew that. Anyway, about the Iran thing, you said a while ago that if it were you, I think, that you would hope that there were people around you that were smarter than you, that knew more about it, and could advise you properly. And the fact is, there were. I suspect people have written books on this. They've war-gamed this over and over, and they came to the conclusion that this is exactly what would happen if we did this. And they keep saying, well, no previous president did anything about it for 47 years. Yeah, that's because they were warned not to do this. And I think people go into all these, twisting themselves to offer all these explanations, and the simple fact is he screwed up. And that's all I got to say about that.
Well, Rob,
what are your thoughts?
I certainly appreciate the thoughts and appreciate the telephone call. On the data center front, so are we saying that I feel like people didn't have problems with data centers until they became this large.
Yeah, so I think a distinction needs to be made about what we're talking about. Are we talking about these small little hosting places, or are we talking about the big, ginormous data centers for AI training? Because those will suck up a lot of water and a lot of power. Now, you can put one in the SunTrust building and not miss it, but this is completely different. So, yeah, to some degree, you're right.
Well, I would argue that, we're utilizing this data. We're utilizing AI in a fashion that potentially necessitates more of them. Otherwise, they're not building them for their own jollies. If they don't get used, they don't make money, right?
Sure.
So
what I'm saying is, this is the difference.
I mean, I understand that they're upscaling it, and the hyperscale centers are the ones that people have the most issue with. You're correct.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
and I think people are being disingenuous on both sides when they say, "Well, we've got 33 in Middle Tennessee already." Well, what does that mean?
Well, it means we have 33 data centers in Middle Tennessee already.
Yeah, but there's different degrees, different orders of magnitude. I mean, this thing you're talking about, orders of magnitude bigger, more power usage, and water usage. And the one in the Truist Bank building doesn't use water.
So
like this.
If I told you that I was building a 200,000 square foot data center, somewhere in Middle Tennessee, but that I was going to have my own power source and my own water source, do you think the community would still want it there?
Depends on where you put it. If you're going to put it in a place that used to be a nice pristine wilderness and maybe even had at one point in time had a state park in it, I'd say no.
Probably not. Right.
Depends on where you want to put it.
It's all about optics.
And the problem is, it'd be great if they put them out in the middle of nowhere in the desert, but that leaves them potentially without water and without the electric trunk lines that they need.
Well, O'Leary tried to do that out in Utah, and he got destroyed.
Yeah.
And is getting destroyed as a result. But his was like this mega gajillion acre. I mean, it was insanely large.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a hyperscale data center.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's a great conversation. I do believe that most of the concern has been the amount of size and the amount of electricity and water usage that we're talking about, and there's a lot of pushback going on. And it's entirely right and proper that the community would push back to their elected officials, and the elected officials would then appropriately respond by regulating the data centers in a fashion that they could not take advantage of publicly available resources like electricity and water. I think that's altogether right and proper. It's 32 after the hour on Super Talk. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for U.S. Pest. J.K. and Erica Brister. Every billboard you see around town, every time that I mention them, I mention their love of the United States of America. And they truly do love this great country and everything that does make it great. You know what they don't love? Bugs. Bugs bug them and bugs bug you, and it's bug season, right? I mean, we're in the thick of it with spiders and stink bugs and ants and ladybugs and silverfish. And yeah, I even said lightning bugs. I said lightning bugs. I know y'all like those lightning bugs to light up, but they can be nuisance pests as well. It's time to deal with them with U.S. Pest. Now, if fleas and ticks are a concern, it's time to eliminate those as well with treatments from U.S. Pest, and they can do that too. Simply make the call that so many others have made to our friends at U.S. Pest. Corrective and preventative services available for termite protection. Termites are invasive, and they threaten every home in the state of Tennessee, but full-service pest control is the number one thing that you need to get on board with U.S. Pest. USPest.com, that's USPest.com, or call today, 590-1260, 590-1260, for our friends at the one and only U.S. Pest. Hey, at least we're not in California. That was the end of that sentence. Out in California, they are. This is awesome. In the state of California, under the leadership of Gavin Newsom, the state is now pressuring utility companies to award upwards of $633 million in contracts to LGBTQ businesses. So the scheme operates through the California Public Utilities Commission, which regulates privately owned utility companies. California Utilities spent more than $43 billion in 2024 on contractors, fuel suppliers, surveyors, engineers, and others whose work helps deliver gas, water, electricity, and internet service to the 39 million residents of California. Okay, y'all with me so far? So they contract out to private businesses and funnel money through. In 1986, the Assembly passed Bill number 3678, which required certain CPUC, that's California Public Utilities, regulated utilities, to submit annual plans for buying goods and services from female and minority-owned companies. 2 years later, CPUC created its, quote, supplier diversity program, which would enforce the law and set up contracting goals for large utilities. Under a series of Democrat governors, the program has now expanded to include gay-owned businesses. In September of 2014, then Governor Jerry Brown signed legislation requiring CPUC to recognize LGBT-owned businesses as eligible for supplier diversity benefit. 5 years later, Governor Gavin Newsom expanded the program further, encouraging other companies involved in the energy sector to award contracts exclusively to gay-owned firms. In the years that followed, CPUC faced activist pressure as it implemented the gay expansion. Build Out California, a rebranded LGBT building industry organization, sent letters to the commission arguing that homophobia existed within the ranks of the utility companies. The state's legislative LGBTQ caucus suggested in a 2021 letter that even considering lower gay procurement targets was an insult to the community. All right, y'all with me so far? So by 2022, CPUC had fully implemented an expansion. In practice, this meant establishing the goals for utility companies with annual revenues exceeding $25 million to buy things from state-certified LGBT businesses. Bottom line is this. They want to send out they demand that roughly $633 million go exclusively of California taxpayer dollars to LGBT-owned firms, which begs the question. Jackson, if you and I had an opportunity, we're out in California, right? We own a business, and we want to subcontract out with a California.
What do we sell?
We're selling widget-related items. These widgets are needed for the processing of electricity across the state of California. All
Okay.
right? Okay? But the only way we're going to get we're looking to get awarded a $30 million contract from the California Public Utilities Corporation. But we got to be gay.
I'm good.
You're good? I'm gay. 30 million? Just got to fill out a form, right?
Oh, yeah, I'll probably do it.
I mean, you don't have to, do it. So the scheme it raises an obvious question. How does a business qualify as officially gay? This gets so much better. This could have been my nincompoop. Supplier Clearinghouse, a group that certifies firms for the CPUC program, features a list of qualifications linked on its website. Applicants can secure certification by providing a letter from an LGBT organization attesting to the ownership's sexual preferences. They can also provide proof that a newspaper identified them as LGBT or 3 letters from personal contacts written on company letterhead attesting to their homosexual orientation. Corporate officials who falsely represent their business as gay face up to a year in jail. I am not making any of this up. So now, if you're a straight white male, you don't have the same opportunities as gay people, but all you got to do is get 3 friends to say you're gay, and, well, I guess you get the money. So California is pressuring public utilities to award $633 million in special contracts to gay businesses. To qualify, residents must go through their gay certification program. And if they're not gay enough, you got to go to jail, where one would presume that you would immediately learn to be gay. Maybe. In the meantime, little audio video here, please, sir. In the meantime, as promised, J.D. Vance made an appearance on The View, and we got the clips. Here's Whoopi Goldberg being very angry.
Color in your family.
Sure.
So when you see, things, the Emmett Till stuff coming down, or them doing all kinds of removal of information of black heroes, how does that sit with you?
Well, what exactly are you talking about, Whoopi? Because you just
I'm talking
I know
about
Emmett Till was
I can tell you all the stuff. Yeah.
No, I want to know what she's.
You don't know
I
what
want to
I'm
respond
talking
to your
about.
actual point.
So in a lot of the museums, there's so many. Where they're taking down the actual history that happened in this country. Slavery happened. All kinds of stuff happened, and it seems that it has been very easy for this administration to remove that and also to denigrate black folks who have worked their behinds off to get this American dream. How do you, I mean, you know better.
So Sonny, that was actually a very helpful intervention, because I think the story you're talking about is where.
So that's Whoopi Goldberg getting beside herself and not really being able to name an example when asked about the possibility of examples regarding the removal of materials concerning slavery or that period in American history. Here's another one.
Did have a criminal record. They had a sex trafficking conviction.
Don't have criminal records. So the majority of people that ICE is rounding up and taking out of their homes from their families, they're separating families. They're using children as bait.
But
the majority are not criminal.
But can I respond to that, guys? Let me just say this. Okay. So you talk about the children. Here's what I'd say. Do we know that during the last administration, we had tens of thousands of children who were sex trafficked by the cartels, who were brought into our country in profoundly dangerous and predatory conditions?
Let's talk about this administration.
But here's the point. Unless you enforce the border, you invite that kind of conduct. You think that our immigration policies are inhumane based on the reporting of one person with a political bias. What I'm telling you is that it's inhumane to allow cartels to sex traffic people across our border. And by the way,
please hold on.
I appreciate that. We're going to get you back, Anna.
We're coming back with more with the Vice President.
All right, there's a clip number 2, and I got one more to share with you regarding, Anna Navarro continued to interrupt J.D. Vance, so much so that Joy Behar actually stepped up and told her to stop.
The lack of education. I would urge you as a Christian and as a father to visit those detention centers where the children are being held and make sure that the conditions are up to the values that we hold in this country.
So you guys have thrown a lot at me, and I see we got 30 seconds left here. But let me say,
You're
number
the
one,
Vice President. You can go long.
I'd like to pick up on this theme because I think it's really important. We do have to strike a balance, of course, between enforcing our laws. We don't want to dehumanize people. That is the balance that, look, law enforcement, what I'd say about this, law enforcement is always inherently not a very pretty process, especially when you're dealing sometimes with violent people, with people who are resisting arrest. Some of the people that I've been told by the media were completely peaceful, had never violated any laws. You actually look into the record and you find out that those people were actually being violent, or they did have a criminal record. They had a sex trafficking conviction.
Don't have criminal records. So the majority of people.
All right, and we're entering the arena where Sonny Hostin demands that most of these people don't have criminal records. That's J.D. Vance, a little selection from The View. Obviously, he was in hostile territory selling a book, Communion. J.D. Vance is also scheduled to be overseas by Friday in order to sign the Iranian deal, peace deal, that we've been relating to you over the course of the afternoon. 10 until the top of the hour. We'll wrap it up next on Super Talk. Hello, friends. I have a quick question for you. When it comes to your health, wouldn't you rather know what's going on inside of your body than just simply hoping that everything's okay? Of course you would want to know. People want to know. You might feel okay, but something might be happening and bubbling under the surface that you need to know about. Let's talk about that. The idea of knowing versus not knowing. It has stuck with me since I've been to Kraft Body Scan. I went several years ago and got a full body scan. Going back for a couple's heart and lung scan. It's so important that you do this as well. Ladies, the guys in your life, they're probably, they whistle past the graveyard, as they say. They just pretend that things aren't going wrong when, in fact, we need to know. Couples Heart and Lung Scan is now at $99. This is an extreme and incredible value. It's fast, it's easy, it can give you peace of mind. Let's get this done. Ladies, make the call for your fella. Couples Heart and Lung Scan. TogetherWeScan.com, promo code Matt50. TogetherWeScan.com, promo code Matt50, or 615-436-1000. 436-1000 for our friends at Kraft Body Scan this year. Don't just hope. No, everything's okay.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Matt Murphy with Super Talk 99.7 WTN, and this morning we are out and about at my house, my brand new house that I've been talking about on the radio, with Nate from USS. What's up, brother? How are you?
I'm excellent. How about you?
I'm doing well.
Good.
We invited Nate out. Now, obviously, when you're a new homeowner, especially when you buy a house that's got a few years on it, you don't know what you're dealing with in terms of foundation. And I know that Nate knows a lot more about what I don't see and what I don't know about than I do. So bring the experts out and get them to check out your house. Hey guys, Matt Murphy again with Nate with USS, and Nate has just wrapped up kind of a look at the house. And Nate, what'd you find?
Well, your house is in pretty good shape for the age of it. I had to look pretty hard to find.
Okay.
Your house being on a slope like it is here, I think we could do a lot of good by trying to terminate your downspouts a little
Okay.
further from the house there.
Okay.
Roof water is the killer of foundations, and so if we can just get it to a positive grade to drain away from your house, I think that's real cheap insurance.
You want to kind of get it out and downhill.
That's right. Yeah.
That's
So
the idea.
make sure that it doesn't come right back down towards the foundation walls and causing issues, settlement or leakage.
Now, if folks are watching this video and they are like, we need to get Nate out to the house to do a look. I mean, it took, I watched you do it. It's, what, 30, 45 minutes, something like that.
Yeah.
To do a comprehensive kind of an examination around the house. And they just give you a call and schedule?
Yeah, absolutely. You can call our main phone number, or you can call you or reach USSTN.com and schedule right through the website there. Our girls in the call center will get back to you just about immediately, as long as it's during business hours. So
this just makes a lot of sense, folks, for you guys to do an examination of your house like we've done, to check it out. I'm going to get those gutters done with Nate and his team at USS, and then we'll do a video and let you know how those look at the end of all of this. So thank you, guys.
Hey, that'd be great.
We appreciate you, brother.
Matt, we appreciate you.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN, Matt Murphy Show. winding down this Tuesday edition. Thank you for being around with us. We've got a few more stories to get to before we'll call it a night. And, of course, most of you on the Super Text line reflecting on the, the oddity of the afternoon has been the release of some of the details of this Iranian deal. Not much more to say about that. I am hopeful that this is not the full deal. And, there you go. I do not doubt the sincerity of the effort. There are plenty of opportunities for us to post-mortem this thing and try to figure out what happened and why it happened. And we still have yet to know with 100% certainty that these are the details of the deal. I'm not sugarcoating this and telling you that this is a victory. I don't believe that it is. I think it's a way to disengage from the effort. If I am being naive, if I'm being myopic, okay, I'm willing to accept that. I'm willing to accept that possibility. But I fear that I'm not. I fear that, perhaps this is just an opportunity to pull back and kind of do a reset prior to getting into the summer season and prior to the fall elections. That said, it is, as they say, what it is. In the meantime, it could be worse. We could live outside of the state of Tennessee. I mean, living in Davidson County might be come with its own set of trials and travails, but at least you don't live in Manhattan. Did you see this? The Manhattan rent has reached an all-time high just this past month. It surged 7% year over year. So Manhattan, that is the island of Manhattan. Jackson, real quick, you want to guess per month what people pay for an apartment in Manhattan. This is on average. An apartment median rent in the Manhattan borough hit how much money per month? Fair guess. Give me
$34.50.
$34.50 is a fair guess. That's probably around where I would have been. $3,500 apartment in Manhattan, maybe a 2-bedroom, whatever. 1 bedroom's a little cheaper. The average apartment rent in the borough of Manhattan, $5,125 a month, which is a 7% increase from the year before. Who in the hell can afford to live there? Increase was a part of a trend that's been creeping steadily upward. Median Manhattan rent rose 1% from April to June. That is an insane amount of money to live in a place that is just will chew you up and spit you out. I've never lived there. I've visited there long enough to know, or enough times to know, that I never have any intention of going back. In the meantime, Gavin Newsom's very upset because Gavin Newsom is under investigation from the Department of Justice. He says that it's Donald Trump attempting to put his thumb on the scale and prevent Gavin Newsom from running in 2028 in his presidential aspirations. I would argue this is Gavin Newsom getting in front of a scandal that started during the Biden administration. These investigations of Gavin and his wife began during the Joe Biden administration, not during the Donald Trump second term. That's the first thing that you should note. The second thing that you should note is I have it on good authority based on the amount of lawfare that went on against Donald J. Trump during the 4-year period where he was not president of the United States. I have it on good authority from all of these liberals, including Gavin Newsom, that no one is above the law. Weren't we told that for 4? No one's above the law. Not even you, Gavin. Not even you. Enjoy it, buddy. You reap what you sow. Have a wonderful evening, folks. For Ken Weaver, for Jackson Williams, and the rest of the crew, we appreciate you being a part of the day today.